Wait a second here. I'm like Adam Schefter here. Appreciate you very much. Big Sills here. Do me a favor, hit the like button. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days away from the start of free agency. Next Wednesday, deals can get consummated, right? The official year of the 2026 season starts in the NFL next Wednesday. But we know right now what's going on. And we know what's going on in the NFL right now. Deals are being cut. Deals are being cut right now. Hit the like button. Super Chats go to the top. Man, do we have a big show with topics. More so than anything, Jason Cole will join us at 3:30. We're going to talk to him about some of the pending deals that are out there that have been post-dated until the 11th next Wednesday. We'll do that. The deals that are falling right now, I guarantee you there'll be more coming in the next couple hours here as we do the show. And maybe this will determine what happens with AJ, what happens with Jalen Phillips, kicking the can down the road on Jalen Carter, maybe not. Hit that like button. We appreciate each and every single one of you. So I want to start it out by this. So there is no doubt. I want to show you guys something. The value for A.J. Brown right now just went up today. I'm reading out of ESPN. The Bills landed a new top target for quarterback Josh Allen, agreeing to a trade with the Chicago Bears to acquire wide receiver DJ Moore, a good player. Now, this is from Adam Schefter. Buffalo is sending a second-round pick to Chicago in exchange for Moore and a 2026 fifth-round selection. So let me get this right. For a player like DJ Moore, Buffalo sent a second-round pick, and a fifth. For a player like DJ Moore, the value of A.J. Brown went up. Look, I think DJ Moore and the connection that Joe Brady had with him in Carolina, I get that. Okay? I mean, I get it. And I understand it. I get it. But that guy may be a little bit better than Jahan Dotson. I mean, DJ Moore, let me take a look at what he did a year ago. That's insane, is my point. That's an insane amount of draft picks for a guy he's good. So here's DJ Moore receiving. He had 682 yards receiving and 50 receptions in 17 games. And you think that guy is worth a 2 and a 5? What is AJ worth? Get this. This guy thinks 50 catches and 600 yards is solid. Okay? That's not a 2 and a 5. 600 yards. A second-round draft choice? You're out of your fucking mind, dude. No wonder your takes blow. Brandon Bean is Mr. Bean. Dude, that's a terrible move. And get this, Flexen is right. That's a great move. Okay? This is a great move for the Bears. Holy shit, that's a good. Dude, I'm with you. Get this. And DJ Moore's career, have you seen anything but, okay, he's a really good player. And how old is this guy, DJ Moore? Let's take a look at where he is in his age and what he's done production-wise as a ball player in the NFL. Here, how many years has he been in the league here? So DJ Moore's 28 years old. He's AJ's age. And he is a good – look at this. But here's the deal. in the last 1, 2, 3, 4 years, he's had one season where it was 1364, and that was in Chicago his first year. That was pretty damn good. But in his last 4 years, it's been 888, 1364, 966, and 682. The best part of his career was early in his career. Within the first 4, he had over 1,100 yards. Joe Brady was the OC then, too. But his last 4 years, he's had one season over 1,200 yards. The rest of them have been 600 and 800 yards, 50 catches, 98 catches. And by the way, he's going to Josh Allen. I'm assuming they think that he could, without a doubt, up his game at 28. So to me, what's the value for AJ? I mean, AJ Brown is a 1 and a 3 for sure. If you can get a 1 and a 3 for AJ Brown right now, you should do it. And by the way, my trade looks even more so that I think could end up being a factor here. And we're going to get to that here in a minute, but boy, AJ Brown's market value. By the way, if you're Chicago, you got a second-round pick. Do you give that second-round pick on a future for 27? And do you trade for A.J. Brown in Chicago? A.J. Brown in that offense? Okay. Name DJ Moore's quarterback, Sil. Stop crying. Josh Allen's the best quarterback, right? Shut up. I'm not sure what the fuck you're even talking about, but thanks for the super, man. Appreciate it. Name DJ Moore's quarterback. Caleb Williams. Now he's got Josh Allen. And he's 28, and he's an older player. Nice job, Prince. If he was 25 years old, sure. This guy's trying to make a point for Josh Allen and talking shit on Josh Allen when that stiff in Philly has had 2 1,000-yard receivers and they're changing the offense because the guy can't throw the ball. He's not a stiff. The quarterback in Chicago has a completion percentage of 53%. How would it be better? Well, because Josh Allen's a superior player. Okay? I'm not, you just can't under and comprehend. I know, Prince. You're such a fucking, hey, you're such a, you're a guy that should be teaching English at UPenn, right? Here's a laureate here at UPenn. To be or not to be, I'm Prince, the idiot. That's Prince. To be or not to be. This guy gives me soliloquies and sonnets. How you doing? To be or not to be? Am I a dick? Prince. Yes. Good night. 2007, first and a third, all for AJ post June 1. How you doing? All right, we're going to get into this here. We're going to have ourselves a fun show. By the way, I got to do this here, man. Okay? I got to do this. This is going to be great. And I see this happening more and more here. Hold on. So let me go over here. Let me hit this. Hang on. Hang with me here. Man, am I like Nostradamus? So here we go. Here we go. Lane Johnson? Max Crosby? Keep an eye out for it? Who's been telling you that the last 2 days? Hey, numbnuts, some of you. Not you, Sue, obviously. Keep an eye on Max Crosby? That's Lane Johnson. How you doing? Max Crosby. Lane, what are you telling us? Oh, yes. I said to you, you want to trade AJ? You want to win the deal? Trade AJ Brown to the Raiders. Straight up. You get Crosby. They get Brown. You move the money. You post it to June 1, both teams. And how you doing? Yes, sir. Lane Johnson. Twitter. No. It's Lane Johnson. Stonad. How about Lane? Lane trying to get him. Maybe could it be all it? Hey, I'm with you, man. Lane Johnson is now politicking for Max Crosby to be a Philadelphia Eagle. Yes, sir. Let me see here. Let me double check this here because let me see over here. Lane Johnson. You bet. There's Lane. Max Crosby. It's already got 1.6 million views on it. It's already got 1.6 million views on it. How you doing? Okay. Lane is good at cryptic BS. That's brutal, man. I'd rather have AJ than Max. Not if the guy doesn't want to be here. That will be dumb on the Eagles' part. Now the offense will look like trash. It looks like shit anyway. Hey, Texas boy, what do you think the Eagle offense looks like the Cowboy offense? Come on, man. The Cowboy offense is elite. The Eagle offense is dog shit. What are you talking about? Come on, Texas boy. Cowboys have an elite offense. Sills, would getting Crosby make us a... Yes. Yes. Look at this guy. Thank you for the super, man. This guy's been saying this bullshit for 4 years. Bullshit. These guys don't understand how bad it is going to keep a disgruntled player on the team that does not want to be here. These dorks saying, but he's under contract. Don't understand. Completely, senor. Hey, senor, you're dead on, dude. You're dead on. And you know what you say? You know what I hear people say this about AJ signing that contract? You signed a contract. Why did you put your name on it? What, when the Eagles put their name on a contract and they blow a contract up and they cut a guy, what's up with them? They signed a guy. How come you don't hold them to accountability on it? You always shit on the players because they put their name on it. Eagles put their name on it too. But every time they rip a contract up, you're like, thank God we could get out of it. Well, yeah, they reneged too. Contracts are like hearts. They're made to be broken. Murray to Las Vegas. Grab AJ. Trade back from the first overall. You're not getting that. No. You would get the 2027 pick. That would be a first rounder. You wouldn't get it this year. You'd get it next year. AJ's about to show up to Howie's house with a gift basket and a sorry note after hearing he might be traded to the Raiders. Why? He get his targets? He works with Tom Brady. You got a quarterback who could throw the ball, and you got a play caller who knows what he's doing. And it'll be the best play caller he's had in his career in Clint Kubiak. What, do you think he's had a great play caller when he was in Philly? Like who? Okay? Like who? Lane Johnson. politicking for Max Crosby. There's also a little note there that I'm going to throw at that. Sills, let's say Howie moves AJ for Max and then renegotiate some deal to free up money for Evans. This team is better than 25. I still think the O-line's got issues, man. I heard the Cowboys and the Bears trying to get Crosby, not the Eagles. The Cowboys? Okay, let's see what they do. You got draft equity. Hey, Nostradamus. Nostradamus Sills. Since you're so smart, when will Allen win a Super Bowl? Just trolling you, my friend. If we get Crosby, Howie is full defensive mode. Yeah, I'm sure that DJ Moore is the linchpin on the Bills getting to the Super Bowl. I'm sure he's the linchpin. DJ Moore. Woohoo! Seals, how good is Max? Good question. I think Max Crosby is a really good football player. I think he's a high-energy guy, and I think he's an older Aiden Hutchinson. Does that answer your question? He's an older, and I disagree. I think he does a nice job on tight ends. I think he handles himself pretty well against offensive tackles. He's an elite pass rusher. This guy's not Hassan Reddick. He's not a one-trick pony. And I think he's a good player. Like, outside of Micah Parsons and Myles Garrett, who's the next guy? I think it's him. Seals, if Howie could get a 1 and a 3 for AJ, do you think he would target Dobbs because he's familiar with Mannion? Could be. I'd rather have Dobbs than I would Mike Evans because of what you just said. He knows the offense. That's why DJ Moore's going to Buffalo. He knows Joe Brady. He worked with Joe Brady in Carolina. Just like some of you guys have brought up, you're now starting to see when quarterbacks play with wide receivers, you're seeing that matchup. And you're seeing guys draft that way a little bit more nowadays than what they did in the past. There's no coincidence that Joe Brady wanted DJ Moore. He could have had Mike Evans, but he had no interest in it. They probably kicked the can down at the Eagles. The Eagles wanted too much. And they felt more comfortable giving up a 2 and a 5 to get DJ Moore, who had more familiarity with the offense of Buffalo. It makes sense. I just think that Buffalo reached a little bit on it. Well, here, let me just put it to you this way. If Lane Johnson's correct, so you would have Max Crosby, you would have Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and Jalix Hunt, with your 3 being Nolan Smith, who's still under contract. Your Mike is Zach Bond, and you have Jod Campbell. Man, that's a pretty good front. That's a pretty good front right there. And you combine that with your hoping that your offensive line gets back. That could be a pretty good football team right there, my friends. Now, you would automatically have to go into the draft because you want to get cheaper and younger at wide receiver. You're probably going the second round with a wideout. First round offensive tackle. You addressed your edge rusher, so you don't need to go there. I would go O-line, wideout, corner. And all of a sudden, the pieces start to fit. Max Crosby does this. Okay? I got a guy signed until 29. Until 2029. I don't have to worry about edge anymore because I've got a first-round pick, I got Max Crosby, and I got Jalix Hunt. I'm pretty good at edge. My backers are Bond and Jahad Campbell. And in the rear, I've got Munden and Trotter. Feel pretty good about that too. So I would go My way, I'd go O-line, wide receiver, corner. Pieces start fitting together. Stop with the fucking Josh Allen shit. You're a dope on it. He's the best quarterback in football. Relax. Whatever that stupid thing you just said, I have no interest in reading. Keep talking, man. Jesus criminy. The guy's the best quarterback in the game. What the fuck do you want, man? Okay? It's be cool on Howie to go and tell Vic, we will go out and get any players that you want as long as it's within reason for the last season. Give him say in who comes in. I don't know if they gave him say on who comes in. Sills, could you see A.J. Brown in a third comp pick from Phillips leaving to the Raiders for Max? Here's something else I want you to put into context. Hey, Bob. Need to build up that O-line in the draft. Absolutely, Kimbo. I agree. Here's something else to think about, too. Hey, Bob, I want you to do this. So Lane Johnson, where did he get that from? Keep an eye on Max Crosby. They're talking in the building. Let me double check something. And I don't know this for a fact at all. Let me see something here. Johnson. Okay. Very good. Let's see who. Let's see. Wow. Casey Wasserman represents, and the Wasserman agency represents Max Crosby. Huh. Interesting. They're selling that agency too. They're selling that agency because the guy's getting in trouble with the Epstein files. Let's see here. People talking on topic here. Sills, thoughts on the Texas linebacker, Anthony Hill? He looks like a real deal and is being overlooked by the Ohio State linebackers. I think Hill's a true prize. I think he's kind of in that Edgerrin Cooper deal where you're right. He's a good-looking player. He is. He's a good-looking player. Hey, look, dude, I think you're going to get a lot of good players in this draft. The reason that people don't think this draft is very good is because the quarterbacks are not really all that good. So here's something to think about. Bobby, you in here. Let's talk to some common sense people instead of talking about why they think that Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Josh Allen. I won't even lower my brain cells to do that. Anyway, so Bob, how about this? Lane's talking to Howie. How's the deal coming with Jalen Phillips? Tough negotiations because here's the deal. If you don't have Jalen Phillips signed by now, you're not signing him. He's getting the free agency. You'd have signed him already. He's still a Philadelphia Eagle right now until Monday, theoretically. How about Lane goes like this? Howie goes, I'll tell you what, though. We are talking to the Raiders. Lane puts that out. If I'm Drew Rosenhaus and one of the captains on my football team is putting out Max Crosby and I'm Drew Rosenhaus, I'd be like this. Huh. They're dual tracking us. They're kicking the can on Max Crosby. I'm not saying they're going to pull the trigger on it. But what they're doing is, okay, what they're doing is they're throwing a little bit of shade on this deal with Phillips. You don't want to sign a deal? And you think you're that much money? Or here's another one too, Bob. Think about this. If the number starts to get a little too high, say you get to $26 million. Well, wait a minute. $26 million? I'll pay $4 more million for Crosby. I'm not paying $26 million for Jalen Phillips. Hey, Seals, your colleague J-Mac thinks A.J. Brown is a better receiver than Terrell Owens. I'm sure he thinks that Micah Parsons is a better player than Lawrence Taylor, too. I'm going to show you something about Owens. Owens is the third greatest wide receiver in pro football history. It's Moss 2, it's Rice 1, and it's Owens 3. So you tell me, San Francisco, in his first year in San Francisco, let's see when he started really picking up. In 1998. Who was the quarterback on that team? It was Steve Young. Threw for 4,100 yards. Tremendous quarterback. Let's go here in 1999. Who was the quarterback on the team? Quarterback on the team was Jeff Garcia. Jeff Garcia. He's a stiff. Let's go here again. And 2000. Who was the quarterback on that team? That's Stiff Garcia. Who was the quarterback in 2001? That's Stiff Garcia. Who was the quarterback? Let's go down the list here. Philadelphia, we know it was McNabb. About 2006 was Tony Romo. I believe in Cowboys. Yes. So the quarterbacks that this guy has played with, who was the quarterback in 2009 in Buffalo? Ryan Fitzpatrick. This guy's played with Ryan Fitzpatrick, Jeff Garcia, Jim Druckenmiller, and the only decent quarterbacks he ever played with were McNabb and Young. And this guy's got 16,000 receiving yards and 153 catches. In 1,078 in catches. Owens will never approach anything remotely close to that. In longevity, in physicality, it won't come close to that. Well, if you guys don't think Dak Prescott's good, why would you think Tony Romo's good? Owens played with nobodies except for McNabb and Young. Seals, I just watched a documentary with LT, and he said Reggie White was the best defensive player in NFL history. Did you see the club technique when you played? Nobody could do the club. It's actually called the hump. That hump move he had, I've never seen anybody do it since. I mean, I've never seen anybody in my lifetime ever do that move, that hump move. A.J. Brown isn't near the same level. He's not the same level. I mean, it's not, like I said, it's Rice, Moss, and Owens. Those are your three players. By the way, if he's so good, guarantee you A.J. Brown will never make the Hall of Fame. Ever make the Hall of Fame. You think that A.J. Brown's making the Hall of Fame? What, 87th in receiving yards? I doubt it. That's not happening. He's a really good player. I'm not telling you he's not. But don't kid yourselves. If you think he's in Owens' league. Yeah, no. Terrell Owens. Yeah, no. No. A good player. He says that Jalen Phillips is better than Josh Sweat. I think Josh Sweat's a better player. I think the only thing that is in the favor of Jalen Phillips is the fact that he's a little younger. But he just has got he's got just as much injury concerns as Josh Sweat does. I mean, get this, team obliterator. Who gives a shit what Jeff Garcia thinks? Ooh, he blew up Jeff Garcia's team. Wow. Oh, wow. Well, wait a minute now. Isn't A.J. Brown blowing up the Eagles if he moves? Being a distraction? I think us moving off Josh Sweat's the biggest whiff we've had in a while. I actually think moving off both Milton Williams and Josh Sweat, I think was a tough move. You don't move off two dudes in the same year like that are in their mid-20s. That's a tough one for me, too. You got a 25 and a 26-year-old defensive lineman, and you move off of both of them because you didn't want to pay them, and we got people to play in the future. So they said this, and I see it. They want to sign Carter and Davis and not Sweat and Milton. Okay. Well, Sweat and Milton had a better year last year than both those two dudes. But they see more upside. I do too. And by the way, Jalen Carter right now, I heard John say that he's the best defensive lineman they've signed since Reggie White came. I don't know if that guy's better than Jerome Brown yet. I got a tough time thinking that. Now, I'm biased on that. So, but to sit there and say that he has had the same impact on the Eagle defense that Jerome did, those two dudes wreaked havoc on Gang Green. When Jerome and Reggie were on the same D-line, I don't see the same production that Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter of Reggie White and Jerome Brown. Do you? Hey, Eagle fans, do you see the same production as Reggie White and Jerome as you do with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis? I don't think I see that. Fletcher Cox also, great player. Hey, Sills, do you think Howie's blowtorched the Super Bowl defense because he went all in on the offense since it went down now? He has to pivot? Yeah. I think the offense under produced, and I think they took steps back, and it's concerning. I'll tell you one thing, though. He's not panicking. I'm putting Julio in there. I don't think Julio's in that conversation with them dudes. I hear you, Kim. He's a good player. Julio Jones in the same conversation with T.O. and Randy Moss. Or are you saying Julio Jones and AJ? That's more of a comparison. Julio Jones, AJ Brown, I think that's pretty compatible. White and Brown were on a completely different level. Correct. I mean, Reggie White and Jerome Brown, Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. Yeah, no. I don't see anything remotely that resembles it. But nothing. And remember, Reggie White was a supplemental draft. So he was a first-round pick in the supplemental draft. They had a supplemental for the USFL. And so he was a first-round pick. Jerome was a first-round pick. Jordan Davis is a first-round pick. Jalen Carter is a top 10 pick. So you had a 9 and a 13 versus Jerome, who went 9 also. And I think Reggie went 2 in that supplemental. Okay? Check your source. Dallas has shifted their focus from Crosby to Trey Hendricks due to the asking price. That's a great topic, Prince. Let's go over there to that. By the way, I haven't even gotten to my topics yet. Here we go. Hey, by the way, we're going to talk to Jason Cole, our NFL insider. We'll talk to him at 3:30. Big Z's going to hit us up at 4:30. We'll talk to him then. So let's go here. Okay. Who do you think is going to be more of a free agent and more sought after free agent at the edge? Trey Hendrickson or Jalen Phillips? In this free agency window, who do you believe will be more sought after, Trey or Jalen Phillips? Me, it's Trey Hendrickson. I don't really like the player that much, but Trey Hendrickson, as a matter of fact, neither. Trey Hendrickson's ranked number 2 right now. Trey is old. Okay, Trey's 31, I think. Yeah, but here's what offsets that, Mr. Hill. Trey's younger, but injured. Hendrickson's not injured. Who's proved more? Trey doesn't get hurt like Phillips, correct. And if you're going to pay $30 million or $26 million, that's got to play into it. Trey will be cheaper and does not have health issues. Correct. No. Trey's not going to be cheaper. He's going to be more. Trey Hendrickson is going to get $30 million. Here, and listen, I don't think sometimes these market values. Let's take a look at Trey Hendrickson. Market value. $26.5 million is his projected market value. Let's take a look at Jalen Phillips' market value. Now, this isn't all right. $17.3 per. The guy out there that people are going to pursue more is going to be Trey Hendrickson. This is why my point about the Eagles paying $26 million or $25 million for that guy. You're overpaying. I mean, there's got to be a cutoff number because you do have people you got to. Hey, listen, if you get this, think about something here, Flexen. If you start to float in that $26 million room, I'm going over to Las Vegas. I'll pay an additional $4 million for twice the player that Trey Hendrickson and Jalen Phillips are. I know some people like John McMullen think that Phillips is a better player than Trey, or Phillips is a better player than Max Crosby. I don't see that at all. What impact did he have in Miami? He had the same impact that Crosby had in Las Vegas, and he had better numbers in Vegas. And he's got a better engine, and he's got a better motor, and he's never hurt. Now, to John's point, that would make it a better deal would be something like this, and I would agree with this. He's familiar with playing for Vic, and they understand one another, and he did make an impact. My point is this. I'm looking to get Jalen Carter better, like I said yesterday, too. I want to make Carter better, so I want to put the best player I can next to that guy. J-Mac is a great reporter covering the Eagles. And I think he's doing a really good job with Xander on that show. And of all the guys that cover that team, he's one of the only ones. You know who else I don't have a problem with? That Jeff McClain dude. And I can't stand that guy. Guy tried to sue me and JAKIB because they said some bullshit about him or whatever it was. I can't stand the guy. However, he's very good. And he gets a lot of his shit right. Okay, he does. So I like that guy. I like him and John. The rest of them, I think they're all full of shit. I like Jeff. I like this guy too. Where is he? I like that guy too. I do. I think he's pretty fair. I think they put good dudes on, man. Sills Vic likes his edges to drop in coverage. Is that a Crosby skill set? Let me ask you this: Was Jalen Phillips dropping a lot in coverage? How many times did he drop in coverage? Was it a lot? I don't remember him. No, nobody's safe. This is a rip-free zone for everyone, including me. This is like a rip-free zone. Yes. Shit, Xander comes in here and takes a shit on me. like I've never ever allowed that. But I actually like the guy. Sills, if Howie pulls this off, the stunts that Vic can put together would, holy shit. It's a great take, Bob. Can you imagine the twists in the games that you could play with Jalen Carter and Max Crosby? Thank you, Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson is politicianing right now for Max Crosby to join the Philadelphia Eagles. How are you doing? Holy shit. Trade AJ for Crosby and sign Chubb. Best D-line in football. Yeah. Sills wakes up every morning and flinches at the thought of me disapproving of every take he says during the day. Bro, for you to have that thought in your head, you must go to sleep at night with a doll with my picture on it in your right hand holding him. I mean, that's very, very weird. And I think you need to get serious help. I mean, son, if you want me to sing you a lullaby at night, I'll put it on your recorder. Send me your phone number. Holy shit. This guy here, man, has got really weird tendencies. Very feminine. Shit, Sue's tougher than you, dude. I mean, Sue's got more game than you. He wakes up every morning and flinches with my disapprovals. Who the fuck is this guy? I sound like Conor McGregor now. Who the fuck is this guy? Keep blowing yourself, kid. Hey, it's criminy. Oh, my God. Yeah. Oh, my dog. I mean, dude, we know everyone on the planet, but M. Reyes is the guy. After 35 years, he's the guy that rattles me. My wife rattles me. So this morning, J-Mac said, noodle arm hurts is tougher. Noodle arm hurts. Noodle arm hurts. Look at these two lovebirds. Twiz and M. Reyes sitting in the tree, holding each other's cannoli. Fine as can be. 2 of 1, 3 love 2. We come here to sit and talk to Big Sills. Like singing these guys a lullaby, the Big Sills lullaby. These two guys want to be serenaded by Big Sills. Little Twizzy and Emmy Reyes. Easy, girls. Be all right. I'm in a good mood now, Junior. Aggravated Xander all night. Sills, do you think Lane got... Yes, that's my take. Yes. Hey, get this. You're killing 2 birds with 1 stone here, right? You're shaking up Rosenhaus, and you're also going, what? You don't want to negotiate with Jalen Phillips, and you think that number's too high? Well, I'm going to go over to Vegas and get that guy. By the way, if they do go after Max Crosby, AJ's gone. You're not adding him and not subtracting. Who are you subtracting? Jalen Carter? Highly unlikely. You're going to subtract somebody. Who are you subtracting? Lane? And know this too. If you try trading him next year, you ain't getting a 1. You're not getting a 1. By the way, M Ding Dong has kind of like thrown me for a loop because he got like a new picture because I wouldn't go to him as much as I should be going to him now. So he's kind of thrown me off a little bit here. So I got to keep an eye on that a little more because I don't want to like dumb down my IQ any longer because every time I go to M. Reyes, I become as smart as Twiz. So you think Howie is up to something big? It's according to Lane. According to Lane, yes, I do. We're trading 2 firsts and Nolan Smith for Crosby and keeping AJ. I'm not giving up 2 1s for Max Crosby. Are you crazy? Oh, I got to be careful there because I can't go to that guy because he rattles me. We're trading. No, you're not. I get rattled. The DJ Moore trade guarantee a first for yes. That's the take today too. Yes. Okay, yes. Sills, you're so funny. Hey, well, it's easy to be funny when you got lunatics like Twizha and Emmy Reyes. Those 2 girls are funny, ain't they? Shit, like I said, Sue's got more balls. Big ones, too. Big, like coconuts. Coconut ball Sue. Twizwa. Sills, if we get Crosby, you think absolutely Phillips is gone. And I don't care then. I have no interest. Lane Johnson. Like the bat signal. Maxie Crosby. Maxi Pad Reyes. Maxi Crosby. Yeah, that's a topic. That's what I'm saying. Okay? No. That would be your mom. Let's see. You're trying to call my girl. I'm not trying to call Sue a transformer. I don't know. That's getting a little contentious. That is, man. That Trent Williams thing is starting to get a little bit, but Trent Williams is going to play. He's going to help somebody. And if I were the 49ers, I would not be thinking of moving that guy. I would want that guy, and I want him to retire 49er. I still think he's got good football left, even though he's an older guy. He's one of those Jason Peters type dudes. He's a 12-time Pro Bowler. Let's see here. Crosby in Philly is like Bo Bichette on the Phillies. Get your hopes up for nothing when he goes to the Jets or the Mets. Hey, Jets, Mets, same bullshit. Not going anywhere. Is that what you're saying, Rasputin? Hey, Bo Bichette, Dante Bichette's kid, going to the Mets, might as well go to the Jets. Both those teams are going nowhere. And you know what's funny? I don't even know what the fuck this guy means. That's all right there, sweetness. Trading AJ and getting Crosby would make fans forget about. Oh, no, they didn't. They didn't raise the ticket prices, did they? Did the Eagles raise the ticket prices today? Eagles ticket prices. Philadelphia Eagles ticket prices are some of the most expensive in football. The Philadelphia Eagle ticket prices for 26 are expected to be the highest in the NFL. Single game tickets range from $232 to $994 a seat. God damn. Angelo was right yesterday. $900 for a seat? Holy shit. Okay? Listen here, you fucking ditty. Don't call me no sweetness. Ooh, sorry. I apologize, Prince. I didn't mean to get you upset. You all right? You okay, honey? I'm sorry. Here, look at it here. I just want to tell you how sorry I am. Prince, I apologize. I hope you don't get your panties in or yourself in a bind over that. And I apologize. And yes, by the way, Midol will fix that too. And just make sure you're okay there, honey. Sorry, I apologize. Sad part about winning in this league, your team wins a bowl. Absolutely, everything goes up. Absolutely. Let's see. Way too expensive to watch that. Sorry. Hey, senor, you imagine you pay $1,000 a ticket. You got your kid and you got all of your gumads and everybody around you. You sit down, you're gonna drink one of your $25 beers, and all of a sudden you got some dope named Twiz and Twizwa. Excuse me, he's royalty now. Twizwa and M. Reyes. You get those two idiots sitting next to you, and you're watching that shitty offense. What a Sunday. Twizwa and M. Reyes, and I'm watching the shitty noodle arm quarterback offense. Yeah, I'm working well there, man. What a Sunday that is. Holy shit. Holy cow. Okay, wow. Let's see here. Thank you, Sue. I appreciate you, honey. Going to the games now a days is very overrated. You have a better time. I do too. Hey, Duel. I get my own big sills, like my own OJ cup. I get my own cup like this. Sit it here. I got my own whatever here. I got my Coke here. I'm sitting over here. I got all kinds of good things. Okay. Knowing some of you in there, you got your hookahs and your pipes and your grinders and your and you're sitting there and you're going, hey man, that's some really good football being played on defense. That offense is horseshit, though. I can tell you that. How you doing? Yeah, no, hey, going to the tailgates, that'd be dope. That's good. Right? Yep. I'm a homer too. Can't do crowds. I'm with you, Sue. Okay. Man, this is the best. Yeah, we're in a rare one today, man. Because you know why? Watch this. I'm going to do it again. Hit the like button, guys. Jason Cole at the bottom of the hour. Please hit the like button. Ready for this? Max Crosby. Lane Johnson. Max Crosby. Lane Johnson. I didn't even have to put out a topic today. Shit. I got things over here. Look at this. Out the wazoo. Lane Johnson. Max Crosby. Holy shit. Hey, by the way, that's your boy doing it. Tailgates be a bunch of crumb bums doing too much at times. And, dude, my friend told me, man, it was a lot of fun going to an Eagle tailgate. You'd think it's Friday the way Sills is acting. No, I'm in a good place because Max Crosby. A.J. Brown's value just went up in a trade. Man, I got to tell you, I am off to one freaking whale of an offseason so far. I told you. Hey, by the way, is this fair to say? Is this fair? If you don't have Jalen Phillips signed by Friday, it's over. Why would I? What's the incentive for me to wait until Monday? If I'm the player and the agent, Drew Rosenhaus, I'm going to go see what's out there in free agency. Okay? What in God's name? Okay? I haven't been wrong at all last year. And Dunkov. That's the guy that was telling you Keely Ringo and Kevin Petula were going to be stars last year. Woo! What was the word that Mrs. Reyes said? Easy transition. What did he say, Keely Ringo? All pro. I remember that. Those big old all pro letters that M. Reyes put out there. Also said Nolan Smith's going to get $25 million. It said that Reed Blankenship's deal's right around the corner. When's that thing coming? Let's go here, Kyle. Gotcha, bro. 2026, the declaration of defense with the blowtorch offense with M. Reyes calling plays. M. Reyes calling plays. He'd be the Kevin Petula of talk show guys that call in or post during a sports talk show. Bob in Passaic. Go. Bob in Passaic, New Jersey. M. Reyes, Passaic, New Jersey. Go ahead. Chesapeake Bay, M. Reyes. Go ahead. We tried to get Micah or Miles last year. We're about to make a splash, Hills. That's a really great take. That is. You did try to make a play for those two guys. Why not make a play for Crosby? You're right. And by the way, too, RC, you tried to make a play for Christian McCaffrey a couple years ago, too. Well, I hope I didn't insult your friends. By the way, Passaic, New Jersey, if I'm not mistaken, I think Ironhead's from around that neck of the woods. Fishing Maniac, I think Ironhead Hayward's around that place. He's around that neck of the woods there. Hey, well, I'll say this, Twiz. Let me say this to you. Myles Garrett's a danger to somebody's community. His night ticket since 2017, this guy's going to kill himself for somebody. And for somebody like me that lost Jerome Brown, bro, what are you thinking? You're making $40+ million. You're speeding in a 65-mile-an-hour zone. You're doing 100 miles an hour. What the fuck's wrong with you? I mean, honestly, what's wrong with you? I mean, you got no brain cells, guy. No disrespect to anybody, what I'm going to say here. That's like getting into a helicopter when you got no visibility. Not the smartest thing on the planet. Hey, let's speed for the 9th time. I don't know. And by the way, I don't really blame Kobe for that. I blame there was a pilot on the damn thing. I know he wasn't flying it. Surely the pilot would have went, this might be a little dangerous. Hell no, let's fly into it. We can't see. Crazy. No, it was more on the pilot, Dunkov. I mean, dude, 9 times. 9 times. This guy's had a ticket. What are you doing? To be fair, I think the other car would get more damage than Garrett. With that dude in it too. Absolutely. Absolutely, right? Absolutely. Look, man, I'll say it again. Lane Johnson putting that out. That's not like, hey, here, let me show you something. And I'll make. So here, let me read this to you. I did this on the Tampa show this morning. So Adam Schefter was on a podcast with Harold Lewis. That's Trey Hendrickson's agent. Do you know what he said on that podcast? Right after that podcast got done, Adam Schefter went like this. We're learning that Trey Hendrickson really wants to play with the Buccaneers. He wants to play with the Buccaneers. Well, the guy's from Orlando. And he played at FAU, FIU, one of them places. And what's Adam Schefter doing? This guy works for ESPN, and he's on a foghorn, and he's throwing out that, hey, Bucks, by the way, Trey Hendrickson wants to play in Tampa. And he's politicianing for the guy to go to the Bucks? I thought you were covering the sport, dude. I mean, what were you thinking? So when you be careful what you're hearing. Because remember, these agents, like this deal here. Here, let me go back here. This deal here. Okay. Bills landed a new top target for Josh Allen. They get DJ Moore. Buffalo is sending a 2006 second-round pick to Chicago in exchange for Moore and a 2006 fifth-round selection, according to Adam Schefter. Okay. Where did he get that from? He didn't get that from the league. He didn't get that from the teams. That stuff is not certified until probably next Friday. Free agency doesn't start until Wednesday. Where did he get that from? Teams don't put that out there. Agents put that out there. I mean, I think, yeah, he's from Apopka. I think he went to the same high school. Oh, really, Carter? I thought it was Warren Sapp. I thought he went to the same school as Sapp. Because Sapp's from Apopka. Crosby overrated. Hendrickson better than him. Based on what? You think Trey Hendrickson at 31 is better? Okay, we'll agree to disagree. Titans looking like the team to spend on some defensive ends. Yes, they've got like $96 million in cap space. Yes. They got about $96 million in cap space. Hit the like button, guys. We appreciate you, man. Thank you. Does then mean that the Bucks will have to move on Hassan Hong Kong Fui Reddick? He ain't coming back. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't mind the Eagles signing that guy to a league minimum deal. Bring his ass back for a league minimum. If I get 4 sacks out of him, it's better than Joshua Uche Kuche. Or it's better than Izisa Ojalara. And if you're going to go Timu shopping, I would go and I would get Hassan Hong Kong Fui Reddick. Plus, I get him on a league minimum deal. So, I'm paying him $1 million. Okay. Bucks paid him $14.7 last year. Eagles paid him $14.5. Get him for $1 million? I'll take that. Versus those dudes you had a year ago. Nah, you'd probably rather have Azisa Ujalara. Azisa Ujalara. And by the way, Reddick would be cheaper than Azisa Ojalara. He'd be on a league minimum deal. Like I said, dude, I'll take anybody coming back on the money's right. Yeah, so you got a guy with bad advice. Don't mean he's a bad player. I know, he is. World's a better place without that guy. Guy saying that Lou, by the way, let me say this to you. Lou Holtz passing away at the age of 89. A legend. I was privileged to be a friend. By the way, did I save that? Let me see here. Let's see if I saved it from Skip. I got a nice text message this morning from Skip Holtz. Yeah. Here's my my call log. How you doing? Where's the call log? Right there. Skip Holtz. See him? Oh, yeah. I'm trying to work on getting Kyle Whittingham on, the head football coach of Michigan. Working on Tony Dungy, trying to find a time. And that was you're on again? Crazy. Oh, there's Mad Dog Russo. You guys said you wanted him on? What did he say? He's away this week. So he's away this week. We'll try next week for Mad Dog. Anyway, this is what Skip said. Thanks, Dan. Tough day, but finding comfort in the fact that he saw God's face and he's with Mom. Hope you're well. You know we love you. Skip Holtz. Come a long way, me and Coach Holtz. I still hate Notre Dame, but I was so privileged to play in a time in college football when I could play like that, and I never realized it. Somebody pointed it out this morning to me. In a 4-game span, I played against Bo Schembechler, Bobby Bowden, Pat Dye, Tom Osborne, and Lou Holtz. 5 games in a row. I thought that was normal. I did. I thought that was normal. Those were the teams I played against. Like one year we played all those teams in a row. I just thought that was normal. And I remember sitting at a cigar bar with Coach Holtz and Lee Corso in Orlando, where we lived. And I told him, I said, hey, I'm going to tell you, man. And by the way, we started that great rivalry. It was my teams and his teams. And I remember I told him, I go, hey, Coach, I'm going to tell you, man, I like you, but I don't like Notre Dame. I just don't. And he goes, Dan, I like you, and I don't like Miami. And we both laughed. He was an inspiration to a lot of people. He was a motivator. He was a man who made impact on people's lives. I mean, he was just a superstar. He really was. He was an absolute superstar when it came to how he dealt with people and how he dealt with here, I'm going to read you guys something. Then we'll move back on to the Eagles here. Hold on. And free agency. And I got to read you this. Jerome Bettis sent this to me. By the way, I can't believe how many like Notre Dame friends I have. Chris Zorich is a friend. There are moments in life when words just aren't enough. Losing Coach Holtz is one of those moments. Coach was so much more than football and coach to me. He was family. I still remember the day he came to my house to recruit me. He didn't just sit down and talk to me about football or what I could do on the field. He talked to me as a man. He spoke to me and he spoke to my mom the way a man should speak to a woman who was trusting someone with their son. He looked into her eyes and promised that I would be taken care of at Notre Dame. That meant everything at the moment to my mom and to me and to the entire family. Coach Holtz believed in people. He believed in building men, not just players. He welcomed my entire family into the Notre Dame family and always made sure we felt that love and support. That's who he was. He cared deeply about people around him. He made every one of us feel like we mattered. The lessons he taught me were far beyond the football field. His faith, his discipline, his belief in doing things the right way shaped who I am to become the man, the father, and leader I am today. My heart is broken today, but I am also filled with gratitude for the time I had with him and for the impact that he had on my life. Coach will always be with us in the lessons he taught, in the lives he changed, and in the love he gave us so freely. Thank you for everything, Coach. I love you. You forever be in my heart. Go Irish. Jerome Bettis. Pretty cool, man. Years after the fact. That's what good coaches do, man. They leave that kind of impact in your life. So rest in peace, Coach. I thought it was one of the really coolest things. And Skip sent me a picture. Coach Holtz was dying. And I won't share the picture. I think Tim Grenard did, but I'm not. Coach was dying yesterday. And his players were filing in. And they were saying goodbye to him. And they were holding his hand. And players and family were around him when he passed. And going out with people you made an impact in their lives. Man, that's a pretty damn good dude, man. That is. I'm familiar. You know people. They don't believe you. They can kick rocks. I'm a Michigan guy. Rip. Betty is from here. Respect. Done. He is, man. He's just a piece of... Keith Olbermann is just an awful man. Bobby Bowden is what I think of when I think of an old ball coach. One of the sweetest men I've ever known. That's my wife's favorite coach. Is Bobby Bowden, college-wise. She likes Coach Bowden. She really never liked Jimmy because they dog Coach Landry. My wife's a Tom Landry and a Bobby Bowden guy. Funny, those two guys, all guys that took care of their players, loved their players, and had respect for players. By the way, Kyle Whittingham. Yeah, I'm working on. Kyle's been on, right, Xander? Kyle's been on my program a couple times, I think. Hasn't the head coach of Michigan been on? He was the head coach of Utah the last time he was on. We had him on here. We'll get him on again. I've known him a long time. Good man. He still thinks that, see, this is the U. His thing is this. That was Utah. This is us. That's them. So he still thinks it's like this. And I'm like, bro, this is the U. No, this is the U. And I'm like, no, that's not the U. That's the U. I think that was in a Purdue game that he did that. So let me do it again. One more time. Max Crosby. Oh, man. Max Crosby. Whew, man. We now know this. AJ's asking price is a 1 and a 3 because of the DJ Moore deal. And the Eagles, one of their captains, keep an eye out for Max Crosby. The man, gang signs? I didn't do this, dude. I did this. I didn't do this. Okay? I did this. I know what's up. Remember, I'm Italian. How you doing? Elite offense to pair with a shitty defense equals no playoffs. Hey, shitty offense. You know what I love about the Philly media thinks that offense is going to turn around. I don't. I do not. I think they're going to struggle. I do. I don't think they're just going to go, whew, Batman. And you're going to seamlessly go from being Clark Kent to Superman. Is that what you guys think? Okay? I mean, you think they're going to go from being Clark Kent to Superman? Voila. Sills, I've been coaching for 30 years. While teaching a game, life lessons can always be tied in, and sometimes you never know how you touch a player. Absolutely true. Absolutely. My wife's a really great coach. Okay? Really great coach. And the impact that you make on people's lives go far beyond wins and losses. Absolutely. Big up, Sells. I grew up in Michigan and Schembechler guy. Rick Leach. Wow. Let's see if I could show you something cool here. You're a Michigan guy, Riz? I think you might like this. So let me show you something here. You might dig this. And Sileo. Let's see here. See if I can do it. I'm not. Lately, Xander's had to do quite a bit of things for me. Okay. So, in that letter there is my offer from Bo Schembechler. There's my old home address, 67 Sylvan Road in Stanford. And this was the letter I signed. My initial letter of intent to go to Oklahoma, be a Sooner. I changed my mind and went to Miami. But I was offered a scholarship by Michigan. I almost took it. I thought about going to Michigan. Coach Schembechler was cool. And I went on a recruiting trip. Thought it was cool. Thought the whole thing was great. So I thought about it. But Bo Schembechler offered me a scholarship. So do you think Howie will trade AJ away before the draft? I think if he trades, if it's not for Max Crosby, they would trade him after June 1. If Howie doesn't and takes a wide receiver in first or second round, how about great take, senor? If they take a wide receiver in the second round in the April draft, there's still a shot they would trade AJ after June 1. The only thing Sills enjoys more, besides bashing the Eagles, is talking about himself. Yeah, probably so. Well, I got to say what, Twizwa. Got to be proud of yourself before you could be proud of others, can't you? Because if you're not proud of yourself, you're a miserable person like Twizwa and M. Reyes. Oh, hey. Oh, you bet. I love being Big Cells. I wouldn't want to be Twizwa and M. Reyes. Senor has had probably one of his better weeks. Okay. October deadline. There's less teams. There's less teams. Hold on here. I just got a text message from somebody I've been waiting for. Okay. New England Patriots have called the Eagles 3 times. I don't know what for. Okay? I don't know what the deal is, but I'm just saying the New England Patriots have called. By the way, let me ask you something. With the move that the Bills made, you think the Patriots, after they cut Stephon Diggs, you think that they got to counter that Bills move? What do you think? If you're the Patriots, this guy sources the internet meme. No. He's the senior director of player personnel, Alonzo Highsmith, for the New England Patriots. Douchey baggy. see here. Pats need a wide receiver after Diggs. Pats need to make a deal. Correct. Max Crosby, A.J. Brown, Philadelphia Eagles, all courtesy of Lane Johnson. By the way, think about this for a second, too. Now that the Patriots have to make that deal, remember last week when Alonzo texted us back and said that they had called? Let's do that again. Let me double check. I'm going to answer Alonzo here, so hang on for a second. Let's see. Alonzo. A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown talk. 1 and a 3. Is that the price? There it is. So we just sent Alonzo a text. Is the asking price of 1 and a 3? See what he says. That would be for next year. Okay? The Eagles could get a lot more than the 31st pick in the draft for A.J. Brown. Yeah, from bad teams. My friends know who I am. Just got here, Sales. After DJ trade, did it help AJ's value? Absolutely, it helped AJ's value. If you're giving up a 2 and a 5 for a guy who's a good football player, and for a dude who's a good football player like him, absolutely, his value's up. It won't be next year, though. That's what I'm aiming for, Sills. I'm trying to get Smith next year. Well, then what you do is you trade A.J. Brown to the Browns and to a shitty team. And you're hoping, like, as a matter of fact, by the way, I got to tell you this. If the New England Patriots take a couple steps backwards, that pick could be near the top 10. So those Pats don't want to play musical chairs and not have a seat wide receiver when the music stops. Trying to get ahead of free agency. Listen, what I'm saying to you right now is that you got to make a move, dude. You got to make a move because the Bills are going to continue to make moves. Okay? I'm sure the Eagles will be able to use the 8th overall pick next year and the Pats pick to move up in 27. Well, I don't know if they're going to have the 8th pick. AJ for Max straight up, or AJ for the 27th first round pick? Trade him there anyway? Well, that's what you would get. That's totally what you would get. All right. Dude, free agency. And you know what? I got to tell you something. So the other day, Howard Eskin said something very interesting. And the reason why I wanted to talk to my friend Jason Cole is because, and by the way, we just sent that message to Alonzo Highsmith, who is a senior executive for the New England Patriots. and seeing what the interest level is with the Patriots for AJ Brown. So we're hoping to hear back here, like we did last week when he texted us back. And as we're getting closer to that stupid legal tampering thing on Monday, next Wednesday obviously is when the new year starts. But Jason Cole said something interesting about Jalen Hurts. He said this. He goes, guy's not really well liked in the locker room. And I was like, well, I hadn't heard that. And then we asked Howard Eskin the other day, you think Jalen Hurts is a good teammate? And he said no. He said he could be a better teammate. He's not very accessible. And there's guys in the locker room that kind of don't like the guy. And I was like, well, where the hell did Jason hear that from? Now, my friend's got more plugged in more places than I am. We're going to talk to him about what's moving around here. And the league is moving. And you're going to hear a lot of lies coming up right now in the next 48 to 72 hours, because that's what the league is right now. We're in liar's corridor right now. Without further ado, we bring in our friend, Jason Cole. Jason, I got to tell you, man, you gave me the Kirk Cousins thing a couple years ago, and you said that he was going to get 48. That landed right on the nail. And I was like, Jason keeps saying that Hurts is not the best teammate in the locker room. And then Howard Eskin said it this week too. What do you know we don't know?
Let's talk to people who are either in that locker room or who represent players who are in that locker room. So, I mean, look, he's I don't think he's necessarily a bad guy. He's just not the guy that people rally around. He's more of a me guy. He's kind of typical. I think he's kind of typical of a lot of, you see this with modern quarterbacks when they change college teams for themselves to promote themselves instead of sticking it out and playing. I'm a big fan of quarterbacks who stick it out when things get rough. Now there are exceptions, right? Like Troy Aikman got hurt at Oklahoma. They were going to change the offense back. It wasn't going to be a pro-style offense, so he had to leave because he wasn't going to play. And even Barry Switzer was like along with that, saying, "Look, Troy, don't stay here. This is not it." There are other guys who have changed teams and they've turned out okay. But generally, when guys leave quality programs like Alabama to go to Oklahoma just to get playing time, they're about themselves first. And they're not good at forming bonds and relationships with the guys around them. All of that said, look, Jalen Hurts, nearly won 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So he's held up his end of the bargain. So any player who really truly complains about Jalen Hurts is probably a bit of a me guy too. And so when I hear about the AJ Brown stuff, like AJ's about himself, right? Instead of, hey, look, know who you're working with, but know that this guy can get you to the promised land. He can win titles for you. Work with him. It'd be one thing if the team was wallowing around at 8-9 or 9-8, not making the playoffs or, not playing well. This is a different thing. You got to make it work with guys like this.
Do you think AJ Brown's a good teammate?
No, because he's just out public with stuff. Now, look, I'm a reporter, so I want to hear that. Now, we wait for stuff like that to happen. But no, I think he's a front runner. I think he was a front runner when they were, playing really well last year and on their way to a Super Bowl. But I think that, and we've talked about this a lot about the Eagles, that when they lost the veterans, when they lost the defensive tackle, and when they lost Kelsey, when you don't have Fletcher Cox and you don't have Jason Kelsey, you don't have Brandon Graham anymore in your locker room. You don't have the guys who can walk up to guys and go, get it straight, cut it out. You need to stop. You need to focus on playing. they lost that, and I think they've lost touch with guys who need to be like that. Because certainly the current defensive tackle, he didn't have that kind of leadership ability.
That's a great take because you're right. Fletcher Cox was a leader on that team. Carter's not. And I think that's one of the reasons why you may hedge on giving that guy. Listen, I'm not saying you're going to let that guy walk out the building, and I wouldn't either. But at the end of the day, when you're talking about a $28 to $30 million contract, and you're talking about a guy who's an immature player, I don't know, man. I mean, I hear people say that this guy's the best player since Reggie White that they've had in a D line. And I'm like, hang on here. That guy ain't better than Fletcher Cox and Jerome Brown. Before you start barking like that.
There are some moments when Jalen Carter looks every bit like Warren Sapp at his prime, right? Like, and disruptive and all those other things. But then when you're spitting on somebody at the beginning of a game and get yourself kicked out of a season opener, you're not interested. You're not interested in doing what's best for the team. I'll just go back to this. There are, in any locker room, you have to have guys who can get up and give the talk at the appropriate time, or say appropriate things at appropriate times, or know how to conduct themselves. Like, one of my favorite stories of the first Eagles team when Nick Foles won a title was you had Jason Peters at left tackle, right? And Jason Peters was the guy who, Zach Ertz told me this story. He ran the music in the locker room, and he made sure that they were always playing a variety of music, whether it was rock or rap or country western or whatever it was. They always played different music.
Smart.
And from being in a locker room, if you just play one kind of music, guys get annoyed. You have to play a variety. You have to represent everybody who lives in that locker room. And Peters understood that music is actually a really important thing for guys getting along. And so you have to have older veteran guys who step in and take control of different situations. I don't know who that is with the Eagles right now.
Do you believe that Nick Sirianni is the Eagles version of Barry Switzer?
He's a better coach than Switzer.
Okay.
Switzer was a clown. Come on, don't do that to Nick. Nick Sirianni doesn't deserve that. Look, Nick Sirianni's got some things about him that I would say I don't think make him a long-term answer as a coach. So yeah, I would say he's a short-termer in all situations, but he can coach, and he knows what he wants to do. He knows what he wants to do with his team in a given situation. So I would say, don't assign that kind of sort of clownishness to Nick Sirianni.
Even with the sideline stuff that goes on with Nick, and how
that's a little clownish, but when Barry was there, I don't think Barry knew every guy on the team.
No, he didn't.
Right. No. Like, Barry didn't know every guy on the team. And, Barry didn't know the assistant coaches. He was just there, he was a figurehead. And he was guarding Jimmy's guys. Yeah, he was guarding. He's there tending shop with Jimmy's guys, and Troy was coaching the team, and Emmett was coaching the team, and they had older leader guys like Gogan and Eric Williams.
That's right.
And Irvin, and they were crazy. Don't get me wrong, but they play ball. When it came to Sunday, they were ready to play ball.
Do you believe A.J. Brown? And as a Hall of Fame voter, I want you to hook me up on this because conversation was talking
Don't
about.
Talk to me about A.J. Brown in the Hall of Fame just yet. That's
hold
too
on.
early.
Hold on. You think he's in the same talent as T.O.?
No.
Okay.
I think he's awfully good. T.O. was more explosive. Now, do I think A.J. Brown might end up with a slightly better career? He could. He's got a chance. Because I think A.J. Brown runs the right routes all the time. Right? Like, one of the things that people don't understand about T.O. is the quarterbacks didn't know where he was going to be most of the time. And the only quarterback that he ever listened to was Steve Young, because Steve Young had control over him, right? Steve Young could keep his thumb on T.O. because T.O. was still coming up, hadn't been paid, and revered Steve Young. All the quarterbacks after that, he did not revere. He didn't respect those guys. He didn't give them the time of day. And he would run the route he wanted to run. And if you couldn't adjust and figure it out, like Drew Bledsoe talks about it all the time, if you get him aside, it's just like, yeah, I don't know where T.O. is going to be. We'll figure it out. But I don't know where he's going to run.
You don't think he's one of the 3 best wideouts in pro football history?
T.O.?
Yeah.
No.
1,100 catches, 16,000 yards. No?
I think he's a stat machine.
Okay.
He's absolutely a stat machine.
Never won a championship for sure. That's right.
He won game. I mean, look, he made his team better. Don't get me wrong. Like he you know, they won a lot of games with him. So I'm not trying to cast him aside as just irrelevant and not a worthy player.
I think Megatron's better.
Who?
Megatron.
Yeah, I'd rather have Megatron. I'd rather have Megatron than T.O. I'd rather have Larry Fitzgerald than T.O. I'd rather have, Jerry Rice lapped him. And look, Randy Moss.
Those are the 2 best.
Look, Jerry Rice worked harder than anybody else and got the most out of his ability. Randy Moss got about 80 or 90% out of himself and still destroyed the league. There are a handful of humans who can walk on a field and simply outplay everybody. Randy Moss was one of those guys for a long time. Dion was one of those guys. LT was one of those guys. Reggie White was one of those guys. Like, not even a Jerome Brown, okay? As much as I revere Jerome Brown, he didn't do that in a game. There are certain guys who just you can't draw up X's and O's for what they do. And Randy Moss is one of those guys. Like, John Elway's arm. Like, you couldn't draw up X's and O's for John Elway's
and his
arm.
legs.
Yeah, but he was a good scrambler. He wasn't really a great runner.
That guy was a horse to bring down, Jason.
Yeah, he was. Don't. I'm not trying to say that. But he wasn't a runner like Michael Vick.
Yeah,
you can't draw X's and O's from Michael Vick. All right, Randy Moss. I watched him outrun every kind of coverage. Like the Dolphins tried a vice coverage on him one time, and he just ran through it. Just ran right through it. Like, you guys can't react fast enough to me.
No.
Like, he was waving his hand like I'm open deep before he got past those guys.
All right, Jace, let me ask you about some of the things around the league now. Kyler Murray here. Is there a market for him? And by the way,
sure,
the Cardinals owe him $36 million too on the way out the door.
Fine, good for him.
Yeah,
good. That's glad. I'm happy the kid made some money. Again, I think you'd asked me some time ago about Tua Tagovailoa, and I told you I wouldn't want him. I wouldn't want Kyler Murray either. But there's a market for him. There's just not enough quarterbacks to go around. So, whether it's the Jets or whether it's
Minnesota,
maybe I don't think his size doesn't work in what
that's right.
what their offense does.
Too small, right?
He's too small, and he still runs okay, but not great. And look, he never worked that hard at it. He got by on being an incredible player playing in a wide open offense. Like that the Oklahoma offense just was geared to, chuck and duck and here we go. And he can throw it. He really can throw it. And when you create wide open areas and spaces on a field so that his vision is no longer a problem, then he's fine. but when vision becomes a problem, he's not there. Like Bryce Young is the same kind of thing. I mean, there's a certain number of times when he doesn't see the defense and he's not quick enough. Like when Russell Wilson was in his heyday, Russell Wilson could back up and move around, create space, and find receivers. Kyler doesn't do that. And again, I don't think Kyler works that hard. He's never worked that hard at the game.
All right, so let me throw this at you here with Myles Garrett. His 9th speeding ticket since 2017. I mean, here's my problem with that. You mentioned Jerome Brown. I mean, this doesn't end well when you're getting speeding and you're doing things like this. You're either going to hurt somebody or you're either going to hurt yourself. I mean, and you're a 40-some-odd million a year guy. You're the face of that football team. I don't know. I mean, I think this is an indictment and really shows you the character on that football team all the way from the owner down. You got Deshaun Watson on that team. You got a guy.
Well, I mean, what character?
Guardrails?
What character does that team have? What character does it ever have? Right. So it's not a team. It's not a team of serious people. So why should you? They don't know what they're doing. They just don't. So and yeah, you have people who are like this, who are not who don't care enough about the game to say this is going to be really truly important to me. Like I'll go back to I like Joe Thomas personally, but I always got the feeling that Joe Thomas he was happy. He just played. He got paid and he was played. If they won, they lost. Okay, like this is what it is. Like there's not guys who they're not bleeding.
Well, you guys put them in the Hall of Fame.
I know we put him in the Hall of Fame. Okay. Hey, look, I like Joe Thomas, and I do think he's a Hall of Fame player. But I'll tell you this: there were an awful lot of guys, and on my survey, he wasn't kicking ass on my survey. He got barely 50% of people, and there's an awful lot of offensive linemen who played when he played, and look and go, I don't get it.
I don't either.
And if you want to tell me, if you want to put Joe Thomas up there with guys like Anthony Munoz as a first ballot, or I mean,
Orlando Pace,
who didn't even make it the first time, and Jonathan Ogden, we have people who talk about Joe Thomas like he's Jonathan Ogden. I'm like, what?
No way.
What? He was a good player. He was really good. He was there. He was a stalwart. But I just keep coming back to, I look at the sum total of his career, how he handled himself.
Yeah.
And what represents the Browns, right?
He was happy showing up.
Right. And Myles Garrett, in his own way, is happy showing up.
Yeah. Get my money.
I get paid. Like when Myles Garrett was out there and available, he didn't push it and say, I'm not staying here. I'm going to go somewhere where I can win.
Yeah, no.
It's like they paid him and say, oh yeah, check. Yeah. Thanks. Oh yeah. Like that just tells me a lot about who you are. Deshaun Watson's the same guy, because Deshaun Watson went to a city that he didn't want to play in. Rather than go to a place that he wanted to play in,
they bribed him
because he just wanted to. They bribed him. They just gave him the money, and when you just have guys who are there to play for the money, the game doesn't mean that much.
That's right, and you could see it in the way they play. A couple more questions here, Jace. So I heard there was a Hall of Fame meeting last week.
There was.
There was a secret, like behind the scenes.
It wasn't secret. It wasn't secret. We do this every single year. Don't do that. No, don't make it something that it's.
All right. Well, give me a little nugget then. Is there anything
I can't. Because what we talked about is supposed to stay among us. And
All right.
I mean, I'll tell you there was a meeting. like that's not, but I'm not going to share with you what was talked about.
You know who told me that, right? It was Tony Dungy.
Sorry about this.
No, all good. This guy's a business owner here, man. This guy's a multitasker here, and we're doing this and we're appreciating it. No, Tony Dungy.
Yeah.
Tony Dungy was.
That's well, then ask Tony about what was.
No.
You talk to Tony. No, you're the man. You go talk to Tony about it. You're the man. You're the man. You're talking to Alonzo Highsmith. You're talking to Tony Dungy.
I'm not a journalist. I'm just
we know that.
Crap talker.
Don't you don't have to explain that you're not a journalist.
Yeah.
We're aware of that. You could barely write your own name.
No doubt. Okay? I can't even fill up my own bank stuff. What are you kidding me? I had Xander do it today for me. Absolutely, man. I barely know.
Anyways, just to answer the question, there was a meeting last week. Yes, we discussed a lot of things. I'm sure you can figure out what we discussed. I'll leave you at that. But what the Hall of Fame wants to do, and that's their business. And I, as I say all the time, I serve at the pleasure of the Hall of Fame. I don't get paid to do this. I've said this before. If they don't want me to be a voter sometime, and I'm not saying they're talking about that. I'm just saying if I don't get included someday, then I don't get included. That's okay. If that's just how this thing works. But I take great pride in doing it, and I'd like to be part of it.
Can I ask just one little tiny bit? One little bit.
You can ask any question you want, and you're going to get the same answer you got before.
Wait. So are they? I mean, are you?
I like how you lean into the camera like you think we're now having a more private conversation.
We are,
and this is not going out over the internet.
Listen, all I'm saying is that. So, like, come August when that game is Jason Cole. Is Jason Cole going to be excited about the Hall of Fame this year? Are you going to be looking forward to who you're going to be voting for coming up?
Yeah, I'll look forward. I assume. They haven't told me if I'm going to stay or not. They'll make that decision later, so I don't know. But I look forward to doing the research and figuring out who's going to be in next year. I don't think it's going to be terribly hard to figure out who's going to go in next year. Look at the ballot. We got Gronkowski coming up. We got Adrian Peterson coming up. We got Ben Roethlisberger coming up. We got Richard Sherman coming up, right? Like, those are going to be first ballot. Those guys are first time on the ballot. Andrew Whitworth.
Big Ben over Eli?
Oh, I'd take Ben Roethlisberger over Eli, yeah.
I'd take Phillip Rivers over Roethlisberger.
Maybe, but Roethlisberger won the Super Bowls.
I know.
I'm not saying Roethlisberger's going to make it, but I'll tell you this: he's going to make the top 15.
Oh yes,
right. Like, let's not kid each other.
No, he's never had a losing season, and he won. I thought he won 2 Super Bowls.
2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, 2. One with Cowher, and one with Tomlin, right?
And lost one as well. Yeah, to Green Bay. But look, it's a great player. He's going to be there, and he's going to be in the final 15. We'll discuss him. Gronkowski, I would think Gronkowski's an easy bet to get in. Adrian Peterson, pretty easy bet to get in. I think Richard Sherman, I don't know if it's an easy bet, but I think he's a Hall of Famer. So the first ballot, I don't know. We'll see.
You know what he's going to be? He'll be a first ballot, but not everyone will think it. But he'll still get in on a first ballot. It'll be
when you look at interception numbers relative to the period of the league, I think he's the leader during his time in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So that does mean something. And he had one amazing season and some other really good ones. But you're talking about a guy I think was a 6-time All-Pro. Yeah, 6 All-Pros is an amazing.
I think Gronk is the best guy on that list.
Yeah,
I think he's the greatest tight end that's ever played.
I would say yeah. You put him ahead of
because of the blocking. Too.
You put him ahead of Ditka. You put him ahead of Mackey. You put him certainly ahead of Kelsey. Winslow never blocked anybody.
Yeah, Winslow.
But Winslow is a
tremendous pass catcher.
And changed the game type of guy.
He was.
Yeah, he definitely was. So that that goes without saying. But yeah, I mean, I think Gronkowski greatest tight end of all time.
Peterson,
I don't have what
Peterson too. You think Peterson's a slam dunk?
I would think so. I mean, that's a pretty electric guy. Like,
Yeah.
2,000-yard season coming back after an ACL, other amazing years in
I
there.
think he's better than Terrell Davis.
Yeah, I mean, he was a better player than Terrell Davis. Terrell had to wait 10 years to get in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Now, Terrell is statistically the greatest playoff running back of all
Absolutely.
time.
Yep.
And and the productivity is the productivity at a certain point. Like, it wasn't a Tim Smith one game kind of thing. It's 8 games where he had 1,200 yards. But if you're just talking about pure talent, like when you watch him walk on the field, Adrian Peterson was all man.
I got 2 last ones. 2 ones here, right? Okay, ready? Here's 2. All right. So you think the NFL is going to continue with their games overseas if this war goes into the fall? And do you think, because they got a lot of games scheduled overseas and over in Europe, do you think the NFL, I saw that flag football thing with Brady and the Saudis has been pushed over to the States now because Brady doesn't want to go over there during this conflict right now. Do you think Roger Goodell and the NFL's cash register will pause, or do you think they have business as usual with the European games and all those games over in Europe? Do you think, with all the stuff that's going on, that the NFL will stick to that?
I think there's going to be a very significant risk assessment done, and an assessment about whether they can keep these guys out of danger and who's there. I mean, I think they're going to do everything in their power to play. But yeah, you would have to be concerned. I mean, it's like, you don't just sit there and go, okay, security guy, hey, Big Dom, go check out what's going on. Like, I like Dom. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to slight Dom, but I don't think he's an expert in Iranian terrorism. And terror cells in overseas. Like, that's not good. Like, Dom is not good enough for me to make the risk assessment. And I will also say, frankly, I'm not sure there's many people like, you have to look right now, and the people who are running the show, I'm not sure how good they are at this kind of risk assessment. Okay. So you're going to have to do some very high level private risk assessment to evaluate whether you can take yourselves overseas, because you're going to be a target. The idea of taking out an NFL football game.
Oh, geez. I know. I mean, especially in England, in London, where you're going to play. I mean,
you have to do some very serious risk assessment. Like I said, this is not a small thing. And I will say this: there are going to be plenty of players who probably who say I don't want to go.
I tell you what I would say, depending on where it was, you're going to send me to Germany? Yeah. One of the most, one of the toughest airports on the planet where they do a lot of shady stuff is Munich. You're going to play a game there? I don't know about that, man. I don't know. I don't know.
Again, this is for people who are a whole lot smarter than I am
and me
in security assessment to make that judgment. Do I know how it's going to turn out? Absolutely, I don't. So, but I would say, yes, it's a major, major concern. And if I'm Roger Goodell and I've got my staff, I'm finding the best people in the world that I can possibly find to say, can I do this safely? And I am not depending on the government. And I'm not talking about, and I'm not taking a shot at this particular government, but I would not depend on any government sources to protect my insurance by themselves. I would expect their participation, but I would not expect that they're good enough to handle this by themselves. This would be very high level operatives that I would want, because they are going to be a major target.
So I got to cover this name up because it's got a phone number on it, but I just got a text message from a very interesting guy here about AJ Brown. I think they want 2, 3 in reality. Nobody's given a 1 or 2 for a disgruntled player.
Right. Okay. You got a
So,
2 and a 3. That's fine.
Would you take a 2 and a 3 for AJ Brown?
Yeah, I would. This is it. Look, he's a really special guy. Don't get me wrong. When he's right, but he hasn't been right about being on board with what they're trying to do for a year, and you have to get rid of him. Everybody knows it. The problem is in this age, like there's a glut of wide receivers out there. It's like, it's not hard to go
How
find.
he's not moving him for a 2 and 3? No way.
I may not have a choice. Okay.
Now, well, if the player's demanding out, yes, you're right. But if the player is doing the waffle dance, then if you're the Eagles, you gotta.
But just know this: in order for me to get on board with saying I want AJ Brown back in my locker room, I would have to have AJ Brown come back to me and say, "Look, I was dead wrong, and I apologize, and I'll do whatever it takes to make this right and to work hard with Jalen." I don't see AJ Brown doing that. I certainly haven't heard it.
No.
And I haven't heard any inkling. Not that I would care if he said it publicly, because I would want to hear it privately. But I haven't heard any inkling like that. I think AJ Brown's like, look, I'll go take the money and play anywhere I want, and I'll help somebody else. And so, and again, we're talking about an age where finding wide receivers is not that hard. There are a lot of quality guys out there. Look, I don't like
Patriots offered a 2 and 3.
Okay, the Patriots offered a 2 and 3. Wait them out a little bit longer and see if they'll go to. But like Vrabel likes the kid. He thinks he can work with the kid. That's fine. It's he'd be good with Drake May. They need an impact player. They just cut a guy, and because he was a jackass. Alec Pierce is not good enough for what they're trying to do. Who's the other wide receiver who's out there?
Romeo Doubs.
There's another one better than Romeo Doubs, but none of those guys are AJ Brown. And for a team that has aspirations,
Mike Evans.
Look, Mike is just old. He's kind of old and beat up.
Dude, right? His agent, Derek Gilmore, is high if they think he's getting $24 million.
It's not.
He's not getting that.
Not on a long-term deal. He might have a make good on 24 for 1 year from a desperate team, but I don't think so.
A market for Brandon Ayuk is out there?
There'll be some market for him. He'll get paid. He'll get paid somewhere like on a 4-year deal. Somebody will give him 6 to 10 guaranteed, with the opportunity to make a lot of money back. But you're going to have to give him a physical, and you also got to know what's going on inside his head. He's a goofy kid. He's got a fair amount of AJ Brown to him as well.
And Stephon Diggs, right?
I wouldn't touch Stephon Diggs with your whatever.
You mean the Boston Strangler? That's what I call him.
Whatever. I just wouldn't touch him. Like, he has so many things where you say football's not important to him.
I have no interest in that dude.
Now, he played well this year.
He did.
He
85 catches. He had like 1,100 yards.
Right, but, like the whole thing on the boat before the season, then the thing with the woman up, and look, there's that video out there. Have you ever seen the video of all his teammates who, when they answer like, "Who's the last guy you would ever have date your sister?" and they all say Diggs, right? And I know that doesn't really mean anything, and it's kind of goofy and just kind of funny. But it tells you something about how much do you trust a dude?
No.
Like when one dude after another says, "I wouldn't let that guy anywhere close to my sister."
No.
That means you don't trust that dude at all. not just I don't trust him with women, but I don't trust him at all, right?
His decision making.
Right. And so that's why I think that the Patriots said, we saw enough of that in 1 year. You can go. We'll go trade for AJ Brown. We're even gonna like give up a little bit of leverage here by not getting the trade done first. So you know that the Patriots are willing to come up to a 1 at some point in time because they got a good team. So wait them out a little bit. They'll come up to a 1.
Do you think that what happened in Buffalo today with them getting DJ Moore kind of maybe puts pressure more on New England to kind of counter that?
I say I never believe in they do this, so I'm going to do this, and they do this.
But you do have to build the team around the division and what the division does, right?
Yeah, you do, but I never get caught up in that because that is a trap that leads you down a bunch of bad directions where you overspend in a hurry. You know, you have to still look at what's the talent that's available out in free agency, what are the deficiencies in your team, what's the talent available in the draft, and how can I get guys that fill holes for me? Okay, so I think that just AJ Brown in and of himself is important for the Patriots because when you look at their offense, who are you scared of?
No one. Stevenson's a good back. And
no, you've answered it.
No, you're right. Hunter Henry. I mean, there's just dudes.
Good player, not great.
Right.
You're right. They're wide receivers that they got by. Good players, not great. Drake May had a really good season until he got to the Super Bowl. Okay, what the Super Bowl told me is, A, he's got some growing up to do, and B, you have to help him make the game easier for him by getting real weapons, guys who get open right away. Well, I mean, look, everybody talks about how great Peyton Manning was. What did Bill Polian do year after year after year? You know, he had, Marvin Harrison. He went and got Dallas Clark. He went and got Reggie Wayne. He went and got Edgerrin James. He went and got
Marshall Faulk was on that team at one time.
He got weapons. Always surround a great player with weapons. Make the game easier. That's why, like, Tom Brady got tired at the end because, Belichick didn't want to invest in putting more guys around him at the end. And Belichick wasted a couple of years with Brady where he could have made it work by trying to say, oh, he's slowing down. He's this. We need to move on. No. You need to surround him with great players and keep it going. Just like what did Philly do with Jalen Hurts? They found a guy who can function in their offense, and they went and got AJ Brown. They went and got, the other wide receiver, like Devontae Smith. They went and got a tight end. They got guys who can make the game easier. You get Saquon Barkley. Get guys who you handed the ball to them, and they make your life easy for you.
You do think when you're dealing with somebody like this, and when I hear this and I see this, I think they want a 2 and a 3. It's what we offered. And nobody's giving a 1 and a 2 for a disgruntled dude. That last one here, no one's giving a 1 and a 2 for a disgruntled dude. I mean, you think that's a real thing? Like teams look at that and go like this?
I think they look at look, I think that's what people say until they get desperate. Right? I remember when Brandon Ayuk was holding out, right? Going through the whole thing with the 49ers.
Yep.
And there are plenty of people who will tell you he's just not a number 1. He's not a guy that they just, even at the time, they were like, he was coming off his best year, but they were like, he's just not that good. He's good. We'd like to have him, but we don't want to overpay him. Well, what happened? Well, they were coming back off of a Super Bowl year. He had a terrific year. He worked well with Brock Purdy. As time went on and they got closer and closer and closer to the season, what played out is, hey, we're this close, man. We're this close. We can, we're just one guy away. We're just one guy. We need the one guy. And that's when they finally snapped on it. And I remember asking, John Lynch that specific question. do you fear that you're going to fall vulnerable to the old trap of you want to bring all the guys back and make another run at the Super Bowl? He goes, well, we're aware of that pressure, and that people say that people will crack, but we're going to resist that. At the end of the time, they didn't. They paid him. Now he got hurt. He tore an ACL, which was, unfortunate. But they never. I would just argue they never should have paid him in the first place, and they should just let him roll on and move on to the next guy. And because you pay for guys who are special, AJ Brown is special. Mike Vrabel knows that AJ Brown is special. Mike Vrabel was upset when AJ Brown got traded. All right, in Tennessee. He learned that lesson. So and Mike Vrabel knows that he looks out at his team, and he's never going to say this publicly, but that no one on his offense scares the other team. No one.
No one here.
Yeah.
Last question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Last question for you. Passing to Lou Holtz. In your opinion, Lou Holtz, take the politics out of it, Jace, if you can.
I'll be honest with you. It's college football. I didn't listen to it.
Okay.
I just didn't.
He was a bum at the Jets, so name it.
Lou Holtz, he seemed like a nice guy.
I enjoyed playing.
He seemed like everybody's kind of old grandpa. That's fine. I'm not trying to mock the man. It's just he died. He lived a good long life. He obviously had great opinions. He was entertaining. The few times that I did watch him, but it's college football. I was traveling on Saturdays, or I was taking care. I was doing things with my kids on Saturdays. I don't watch college football. So, and as a college football coach, he was very accomplished. He was very interesting. NFL coach, it didn't work. He tried. He tried, option offense. That doesn't work in the NFL. Okay.
No, he tried to bring the Arkansas offense.
Yeah, he tried, and
with Joe Namath.
and you learn that doesn't work. Okay. But even he made fun of himself later when he realized how stupid that was. Okay. Everybody makes their mistake every once in a while. He stayed in college. He had a great career as a college coach. He had a great career as a broadcaster. I don't have any moment that I remember from Lou Holtz because I just don't watch that much college football. And Lee Corso, great career. I didn't watch that much. I know he put the thing on his head, whatever.
Yeah, the game day thing on his head on Saturdays. Yeah,
he put the thing on his head. Yeah, he put the mascot thing on his head.
You don't like college football that much, huh?
I don't have time for it.
Okay, I got it.
It's not that I don't like football, and I watch the play.
I didn't say that you don't like football. I said you don't like college football.
I don't like college football.
Yeah.
I don't have time for it. The college football I do watch when I get a chance is I'm going to watch Stanford. That's my alma mater, and that's what I care about. That's what I have passionate about. But I spend a lot of time watching pro football, because you got to watch all day on Sunday. You got to watch Monday night. You got to watch Thursday night. Then when season gets toward the end, you're watching it 4 nights a week. Like, I watch a lot of football. I don't have time for it on Saturdays. I just don't.
I want to leave you with this here that, the University of Miami's admission and the admissions rate to get into the University of Miami, the Harvard of the South, is 17.
You mean the Harvard of Miami-Dade County?
It's 17% to get in to the University of Miami. I'm just saying that I got in at 17%.
No, when you got in, it was a little different number.
Okay. I don't even know what the number was. I know.
I know. Do you want to know what Stanford?
Well, wait a second. So,
you want to know what Stanford is?
Alabama's 87% admissions.
Stanford, right there,
Was that 3%?
3%.
Hold on, you're not going anywhere yet. What's the admissions rate getting in the Stanford? 3%. Bullshit.
Might be under 3 now.
Hold on, admissions.
Yeah, 40,000. Over 40,000 applications. We allow like 1,800 in.
Admissions rate. Hold on here.
Okay.
All right, we're done. All right.
Just
All right.
say it. What's the
I'm
number?
not going to say it. All right.
What's the
Something's
number?
around 3 somewhere.
Say the number.
It's about 3.4.
3.4%, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
What did I tell you? 3.
By the way, he went. Some of you freaks don't know.
Mordecai, 3-finger brown, baby, right there.
3.4% to get in there. By the way, do you know that I was the sideline reporter for Stanford football for 3 years when Tyrone Willingham was the head coach.
They had good teams. They had solid teams.
Yeah,
Tyrone was a very good coach.
Jim Plunkett was the color guy. I think Bob Murphy was the
Murph was the play-by-play guy.
Yeah.
Jim Plunkett was there. Those were good teams.
I love that stadium, by the way.
I hated that stadium.
Really? Why? They held a Super Bowl there, didn't they?
Yeah, that was terrible.
That was the Marino Super Bowl, actually.
Yes, it was, and it played in a fog. It was just a terrible stadium. It was terrible. It's just it's old and beat up and rickety, and it had a track, so you couldn't you were so far away from the field on that place.
What were your boards? What were your SATs when you got in there? Okay, 1,600. I had 1,100. I mean,
they were good. Okay, I don't want to do that. Let's not do that. Okay.
Oh my God! Your guys are so arrogant. Oh my God! I don't want to go there with that.
Come on, I obviously had good scores.
I'm the biggest bragger going, and if I had 1,600 on my SAT,
I did not have 1,600. I was not even close to 1,600, but I had good scores. So, I had a lot going on.
What was the GPA?
GPA was, I don't know, 3.9, 3.8, something like that.
A 3.9 and 1,500.
That was before they did all these things, like you got extra, like when my kids went, there was like, hey, this person has a 4.8. I'm like, when did you get above 4?
Yeah.
We didn't have above 4. Mine was my 4 was the best.
Yeah, that's it. There was
my kids were like, no, you get a 0.5 if you get an A+ and you get a this and that. I'm like, what? What do you mean you get extra? Or if you take an AP course and you get this, they add an extra point. I'm like, what kind of BS is this? 4.8 or 4.6 or
over under 1,400.
What?
Over under 1,400.
Over.
Here. All right, I'm done. No. Okay, that's really awesome.
Look, it's a competitive place.
Really awesome, man.
And let me just say this: when I got in, it wasn't 3%; it was like 6. So I got it. I wouldn't get in today. I would not. I'll add this to it. I mean, I might get in based on extracurricular activity and stuff like that, but not on scores. I would not get in. I interview kids for about 6, 7, 8 years. I was interviewing kids for admissions. And I would do write up on how good their interview was. I interviewed some kids that were just off the charts, man. Off the charts.
When I worked out there, I knew kids who worked there.
There are 2 kids that I remember in particular. There's one kid who came up and he was showing me. He goes, he had invented like a 3D way to look at your heart. He was inventing this 3D way to look at somebody's heart, so you could actually show them where exactly the problem with their heart was, because he wanted to be a heart surgeon. And he was, he's a senior in high school. And this kid didn't get in. He didn't get in. Then there was another kid I remember. He goes, "Yeah, I like making model airplanes." And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Yeah, I make up model airplanes." And he goes, "I already have my pilot's license because I want to work in the aircraft industry, and I want to start my own. Airlines that combines first class with, he goes, private jets with commercial airlines, so that people can toggle back and forth with whatever they need." Like, he had a whole business plan written up. He's 18 years old. He didn't get in. I'm like, how do these kids not get in?
I know.
Like, they're just, they're amazing. So I say, like I had good scores, I had good, all that kind of stuff. I can brag on it all I want, but I honestly don't believe that I might get in on extracurricular activity. I would not get in based on my scores anymore.
I did get recruited by Carm Koza with Yale because of Connecticut.
Uh-huh.
And I went to a prep school. So that kind of, and they came and they looked and they went, no, this is not going to work, is it? And I go, and I went like this. No, I don't. You got great pizza up there in New Haven, but no.
UConn's for me.
UConn, baby. I'm ready to roll. Jace, by the way, the Bagel Bakery, make sure if you're ever in the Gainesville area, you make your way over there because a lot of people are doing that. And it's the
you see the boat in the background. That's where we donate our money.
There it is. And by the way, congratulations on donate. Tell the folks real quick why you guys are doing that with donating and getting donations.
Both my sons were in rowing. That's a shell behind me that's on the wall. We cut it in half and put it on the wall. Both my sons and my nephew. So I spent 12 years in the rowing business in high school. Basically, not business, but part of the club out there flipping burgers and doing whatever had to be done to make sure that they had a good time out there. And so my heart's really in that. I donate 1% of the gross. We're over 10,000. I've owned the place a little less than a year, and we're over $10,000 that we've donated so far to the Gainesville Rowing Club. So I'm really proud of that and really happy about that. And I appreciate all my customers who've come in. So yes, the Bagel Bakery in Gainesville. If you have friends, anybody in the Gainesville area, you come in. I got a lot of Eagles. I got a lot of Eagles fans. I got to tell you that. A lot of Eagles fans come in. So they got their colors, fly, Eagle, fly.
Get that bow and arrow, man, and just start hitting them gators. Bang! And you start hitting them gators, you reel them in there on them boats, man. Gators are good, man. That's a good meat. I like it.
As long as you got to get it fresh, though. You got to get it out of the body.
Yeah. No. That's
like it's 2 hours because it's a lizard.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Jason, I'll catch you. Thank you, brother.
Be good, dude. Be good.
You got it. That is our friend Jason Cole. Man, 6% to get in. That's pretty dope. All right. We have Big Z joining us in a couple minutes here, but I do want to get into this. So, we have an answer on the New England Patriots. The Patriots have offered a 2 and a 3. And I am actually going to tweet this out if you don't mind. We are learning. By the way, I just been told, let's see here. Looks like the Patriots may have offered, got to put it that way, the Eagles a second and a third. Actually, I'm going to take that back. Looks like the Patriots might be willing to send a second round pick and a third round pick to the Philadelphia Eagles for A.J. Brown, for wide receiver A.J. Brown. And I will actually put on here, is that enough? A.J. Brown. Is that enough? I'll put Jacob. And I'll put NFL. Per Big Sills. Okay. Sent the Ruer. So, it's already on Twitter. What? What's on Twitter? That they offered him a 2 and a 3? Show me. Show me where they offered him a 2 and a 3, where they posted that. You're telling me to fill. Wait a minute. Hey, Prince, you're telling me right now that the Patriots posted that they'd be willing to offer a 2 and a 3. Where's that? Show me where that is, guy. DJ Moore was traded for a second. I think if that is the market, then AJ's worth at least. Well, wait a minute. There was also a contingency. Okay. Should I go listen to this being poached? Oh, of course you should. Let's see here. And I'm going to make sure our Patriots, we were just told, and also was told, nobody in the NFL is giving a 1. Is giving a first-round pick for a disgruntled player. I want to get that wording right. Put my name right on it. Got the old proof right there. How you doing? So, Sills, AJ's worth it. JJ's only worth if someone is one. Okay. Okay. Agreed? I want a first or a second. No conditional BS. Okay. Let's see here. Don't be upset there. Twizwa. Last hour reported. Dude. Right there. What the fuck would you know, guy? Go back to your dumbass place. The fuck are you doing? The hell would you know? Last hour, yeah, hang on. Let's go back up here. Did I miss one too? Yeah, no, I got that. Pats ain't dumb. There's no way in hell they're giving up the 2027 first. NFL flip-flops too often. There you go. It's a great take right there. Absolutely. Phenomenal take. You're making the radio's job too easy for them. Agreed. The hell would they know? It's zero talent in Philly on the air. Cowboys trolling the Eagles, grabbing our coaches, getting in on any player we have interest in, how he lives in Jones's head every single day. By the way, I wouldn't be shocked if you see Dallas Goedert, a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. So keep an eye on that. What's his name? Zach Robinson is a huge fan of Dallas Goedert. So, again, that's a low ball offer. This will be the now maybe you do this. Okay? Maybe you hold them until the draft. Okay. And you see what teams do. And maybe you even hold them to June 1. They're going to overpay Goddard instead of Otten. They've already told Otten he's out. And they're moving on from Otten. Okay? Those aren't my words, douchebag. I was a senior executive of the New England Patriots. And what you're talking about, I got nothing to do with it. I just asked a question. Those picks too low. How we ain't going for that? And that's why I think New England put out that the Philadelphia, well, they may be forced to, because if AJ Brown is pushing that and he wants out, you might be compelled to take a 2 and a 3. Or, like I said, trade him to the Raiders. And this is what Lane Johnson. By the way, all of my topics today are other people talking, not me. Okay, let me see. Adam Farrell. Let me see. Let me go here. He reported that. Let me see. Well, he talked to the Adam Farrell. Who's this? Adam Farrell. Who the fuck is this guy? Adam Farrell with 300 followers. Is that him? Who's Adam Farrell? Adam Farrell. Let me see here. Adam Farrell, he says. AdamFerrell. Adam Farrell. Who's this? Let me see here. Here we go. Okay, I see him. Got him. So let's see. Diggs, breaking, McAfee, DJ Moore. Let's see. We're 3 hours. Okay, Raiders, Bears, DJ Moore. So Patriots will acquire AJ for a second-round pick. Didn't say a 3 also. They offered him a 2 and a 3. So he was half right. Nice try, bro. Go sit down now. I want L'Jarius Sneed. He's sitting in Tennessee wasting away. AJ's gone. Eagles acting like they will keep. They're just posturing to get as much as they possibly can. Okay? Big Sills, doesn't New England need to pay more since their picks are trash? It's a great take, Chris. That is a great take. Absolutely. Maybe they'll, hey, listen, you know what? When people send stuff like that out, and they send stuff like that to me, by the way, I'm telling you on my Twitter page who told me, my sources inside the Patriots. Just text me. I just showed you the fucking text. If it wasn't the Super Bowl losers, second and third, maybe, but those are practically 3 and 4. Hey, Drew, just because you throw an initial thing out doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be the end game. Any trade value for Brown and Ringo? Yeah. You ready? Johnny Eagle, Twizwa, and M. Reyes. Mike, there's your trade value. Johnny Iguanas, M. Reyes, and Twizwa. You know, you got to have like a little bit of a, like a French twang to it there for Twizwa. Twizwa. Have to respect the host that has NFL experience. NFL has been right so many times. Hard to ignore. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that. That is one of my favorite takes right there. You go to the head of the group there, bro. Gratuitous backslapping on Big Sills goes a long way. How you doing? Guys, stop bringing up Gonzalez. The Patriots are not moving that guy. They are not. What did you report from your source? I missed it. Read it again. Patriots have offered a 2 and a 3 to the Eagles. Nobody's giving a 1 and 2 for a disgruntled dude. That last comment, I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. Because I think if you do get there, thanks for being here for 4 hours every day for the fraudulent football show. Thank you. It's awesome. I love the algorithm, guys. Here's another piece of shit that's a great algorithm guy. Sits here every day. Love it. Way to go. Keep it going, bro. If the Eagles take a 2 and a 3, do it from another team with higher picks. Absolutely. Absolutely. Go the Browns. Send AJ to the Browns for the greatness of Shedeur Sanders. Hell no, I'm not trading him for a 2 and 3. So this is what you're going to do then, Alfredo. You're going to keep a dude that hates the team or hates the offense, and you're going to keep it all the way up until the trading deadline, and this guy derails your football season in 26. That's what you're doing then. I don't give a fuck what AJ wants, either the Pats pay or send his ass to Vegas. I like the last one there, Marsh. Send his ass to Vegas. And he hates the quarterback. He don't hate the team, and he wants to be here. He does? That's why he moans every year. Oh, you're right. His behavior, it shows that he wants to be here. Okay. By the way, how would the Eagles, I think it's a fair question, how would the Eagles look without him? Would they be better? Would the quarterback be better? Would the coach be better? Are you tired of babysitting a guy? You think it takes away from winning and preparing? All seriousness. How much shit do you have to keep doing, and how much stuff does Jalen have to keep placating to make this guy feel good about himself? I mean, at the end of the day, aren't you getting sick of it? Seals, I haven't heard you mention once how AJ ruins his career by tanking the team. My problem with him is not trying. He doesn't try. And here, like I said, watch this. Here, you tell me if he's changed. And by the way, this is exactly what the Patriots look at with A.J. Brown. And it's not changed. This is, what year was this? What season was this? 2000 what was this year that he had when he came out? What year did A.J. come out? So he ran a 4.49. Holy crap. So here's A.J. Like I said, here's the biggest weakness of A.J. Brown. What year did he come out, guys? What year did A.J. Brown come out in the draft? Anybody? Was it 2018 or 19? No? 18? Is that right, Maniac? I thought it was 18 or 19. 19? Okay. So here's what they said about him. 19. Here's his weakness. Swagger level against LSU and Alabama appeared lower than usual. Struggled to uncover against LSU mega athletes. Faced limited press looks from the slot. Guy can't play in the slot. So wait a minute. Let me ask you this too about the new offense. If you're going to implement a new offense, this, by the way, he's in year 8. He's in year 8, okay? And he couldn't play in the slot in college, and he can't play in the slot in the NFL. If you got this new offense, you're moving guys around. He's in a limited role in this new offense, is he not? As a matter of fact, A.J. Brown compared to like Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua or JSN, those guys get moved around all over the football team. A.J. Brown lines up to the left every single game. A.J. doesn't play the slot. I occasionally see him going to the other side, but it's not like they move him around the field like JSN, Jamar Chase, or some of these other guys. He's a very predictable receiver. He lines up in one spot 80% of the time. Does he not? And if you're going to run a new spread offense, this guy is kind of like, he telegraphs where he's going. He's going to the Y. That, by the way, that's not coaching, Yale. That's a profile he had in college. That's not changed in Tennessee and not changed here. How is that coach's fault? That was his this is his profile from college. This isn't him today. That's not what they're saying about him today. That's what they were saying about him when he was 21 years old. Wait a second. I mean, the guy can't play in a slot. This guy would have you believe he plays in a slot. But again, he's a stupid ass. He don't know better. Get this. You see this again? This is his college tape. He doesn't play out of the slot in Tennessee, and he doesn't play out of the slot in Philly. That's coaching, though. And that was 12 years ago. Here, something else they say about it. Needs to prove he can work downfield against NFL speed. Drops appear when focus declines. Get this. There it is right there. Drops appear when focus declines. They wrote that about this guy in 2019. I'll ask Eagle fans, has that changed? Eagle fans, has that changed from 2019? This is his college profile from Ole Miss. Drops appear when focus declines. Needs to make better adjustments to poorly thrown footballs. No, maybe some of those back shoulder throws that Jalen throws to him, maybe he's not capable of adjusting. Because sometimes it looks like the quarterback is late on the throw. Maybe it's A.J. Brown being late on the catch and not being able to adjust. You ever think it's him? By the way, this was his draft profile. Read it. It's there for everybody. This ain't my take. Okay, I mean, has that changed? Needs to make better adjustments on poorly thrown footballs. You know what? He ain't help. You know what that tells me right there? A.J. Brown doesn't help Jalen Hurts. When Jalen doesn't have perfect throws or he's pressured, okay? Can get too slick at the top of routes when trying to separate against athletes. None of that shit's changed. That's the same dude. Hit that like button, my freaks. Seals, that's what drives me crazy. Hurts can't read a D and work progressions, but they're implementing a scheme that will force it. Why not force AJ into the slot like that? I agree. Okay. Hold on here, dude. I'm just reading you his pre-draft. I didn't write that. I didn't write that about the guy. Oh. I got Big Z coming. Peekaboo. Peekaboo. I'm like Tyson. Bang. Bang. All I have to do is to a New England Patriot executive. Bang, we get that bitch back. And then we have this. Max Crosby. How you doing? Max Crosby, Lane Johnson. Without further ado, I can't wait for this one here. Lane Johnson is publicly pimping and wanting the greatness of Max Crosby. And Big Sills has been saying, AJ to the Raiders, Max to the Eagles. Could it be that Lane Johnson watches the show? Because, as I say, it's almost like an epiphany. And watch this. It'll become part of 97.5 and WIP's new programming. Is to steal from Big Sills. How you doing? Without further ado, our friend Big Z joins us now here on the program. And how you doing, brother?
What is up, Big Sills? It is good to be with you after not being on the show yesterday. How you doing, brother?
All good, man. What do you? Let's start.
You weren't flashing our messages there, were you?
Hell no. No, not that one. Yeah, I got scolded today.
Scolded?
I did. You know what?
No comment.
Because I bugged him during his show, and I would have went fucking ate shit too. I would have went nuts on that.
Tell you what,
so
I knew you were going to have a good show today when I saw that Lane Johnson tweet. You always have a good show, but I knew your show was going to be a little extra today with that.
Oh yeah, because there's so much content all over the. But dude, look at this. I haven't even picked it up and moved the sheets yet. This has been too. So what do you make of Lane? Like, politicianing here for Max Crosby.
Well, Lane is kind of notorious for the social media recruiting. But I'm going to say this, all right? And I think you mentioned this in your first hour because me and you talked about it prior to your show going on today. I find the timing very interesting.
You bet.
Like, not only because I think Lane probably would love for Max Crosby to come here, which I think is obvious. I mean, Max is a great player. But I wonder if the Eagles put him up to that with the Phillips stuff. Phillips contract. Like if they sign Jalen Phillips, they're most likely.
No way.
They're not trading for Crosby then. So is it a negotiation?
Yeah.
Is it trying to get is it a false flag? They're trying to get people to look over here while I don't know. I just found it interesting, but Lane does like the social media recruit, especially good players. And, it kind of gave me like, I didn't think Crosby was really like probable, but now it's on my radar. Like, maybe Crosby could be coming to Philly.
Why you're right is this. Who's the easier sign? It's Hendrickson. Hendrickson would wait. I'm not saying he's good, but he's gonna be a free agent. So he would be the easier sign and the easier guy to pluck. Why are you going after a guy who's under contract until 29? Why would he tweet that? He could have tweeted anybody's name out.
Yeah, right.
Why Max Crosby's name?
Why not his boy Jalen Phillips?
Right. Or why not Bradley Chubb?
Yeah, but even more, I think Jalen Phillips is even more. Like it's been reported that the Eagles want Phillips back. So why wouldn't Lane put out an eye emoji and say, Phillip, yo, Jalen, you re-signing?
Yeah.
I don't know. I found the timing of it curious, but this is my question with Crosby. I do think John brings up a good point about the trade. Players have a shelf life in this league. That's just kind of the brutal reality of the National Football League, dude. And you know that as somebody who played in multiple professional leagues and, did professional wrestling. You talked about the toll. It all takes
over
a toll.
800 snaps.
100%, man.
Played it as an average.
Dude, he has 600 more snaps than the next closest person in his time frame at that position. And that's almost a whole nother season, dude.
I get it, but he's not missed any time either.
No, I just wonder about, maybe does that have an effect on him in the future?
Are you concerned about a Ryan Kerrigan kind of thing where a guy gets there, all of a sudden he's out of gas?
I think Crosby's a little bit of a different beast than that. But I do wonder, my point in saying that is not that I don't think Crosby's still a great player. My point in saying that is if you're going to get Phillips, let's say for $25 million, you're right to say, well, I'd rather pay $4 or $5 million more for Crosby. I agree with you there.
Correct.
But would you rather pay $4 or $5 million more and a first round pick?
No. No, because I would send AJ. I'm going to do what John said. If you get a player like that, you got to move a player.
See, this is where I think me and you fundamentally just disagree this offseason. Like you're more in the boat if you think moving on from AJ is the right thing for the Eagles. Is that right?
Yes.
Because you don't think he wants to be here anymore. And you're like,
no. Not because they don't want him. I just think it's not going to work.
Right.
I think what they're going to do is they're going to try to make it work early, and they're going to say all the right things. And then by the time you get to the trading deadline, you could have imploded the 26th season. And you could look like the 2020 year. That year. To me, this looks kind of like the 2020 season at the beginning of it, where guys get hurt, players aren't performing, guys are older. Guess what you're praying for this year, Xander? You're praying for your O-line to get healthier. You're praying that your star wide receiver, it gets more engaged and becomes happier under a new direction of an offense, under first-year coaches. And all of this is like you're hoping that this happens.
Well, a lot of that's true, dude. Which makes it an interesting offseason, but also why I think we've talked about that the floor seems like it's lower this year than it doesn't mean it's going to go there, but it does feel like the floor is lower this year than it's been in recent years. Does Max elevate that? Yes. But here's my gripe with you, man. Like, you talk a lot about Jalen Hurts on your show. Rightfully so. He's the quarterback of the team you cover. Are you doing the best for him to take away his weapons? Like, he's, as much as you can say, well, Josh might not need as much or Burrow might not need it. All right, well, that's not who we have. We have Jalen Hurts. And as far as I'm concerned, you have to build around that player. And I don't really believe that giving him lesser talent is actually conducive to team success. You know, you might be right. Hey, Jalen needs more. Okay, true. Well, let's keep him more then. No?
Okay. So you just said that to me, let me get this right. I don't want to put words in your mouth here, that getting rid of A.J. Brown doesn't help Jalen Hurts because we want to make sure Jalen Hurts has the best opportunity to succeed, correct? Is that kind of, I'm paraphrasing it, right?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, but I also believe most quarterbacks would need a great receiver.
Do you think this offseason move so far that the Eagles have made by hiring these coaches, do you think that's in the best interest of improving Jalen Hurts and giving him the best chance of success with the coaches that you are bringing in with him?
Well, based on what we think they're doing, I would say no. But I mean, I guess the possibility exists that we're wrong, right? We haven't seen it yet.
My problem is not that I don't mind a guy who hasn't done anything before coming in. I mind 6 guys who haven't done anything coming in. I mean,
dude, I tell you what, this is a weirdly built coaching staff, isn't it?
This is a weird offseason so far.
It's a weird,
and it hasn't even really started.
I will agree with you. It is an odd build of the coaching staff. I mean, you got like 3 dudes in the room that all of them were interviewed for the coordinator job. Like, is there any animosity built in? I mean, well, is Jared Johnson or Josh Grizzard loyal to Sean Mannion? No. If in a way, it's like
it's 4 islands.
You got to kind of like keep your eyes out, looking over your shoulder. Like, is this guy coming for my gig? Is this guy trying to supplant me? Is there triangulation? Is there, narratives they're putting out about, what people try and do when they can't.
You grab preservers.
They change people's perception of you or whatever. I don't know. I'm just saying it's kind of a weird build. Not a lot of them have a lot of experience. I mean, it's funny. Jalen Hurts is more experienced than all those guys put together. I mean, that's crazy.
You could put all the years of the coaching of the new guys that you've hired. Hurts has got more experience and more success and more wins than any one of those guys. So when Jalen walks over, that's why I brought up this, Xander. And I said, why not do this? Why not bring a guy like Kirk Cousins in, put him as your backup, so at least when he walks off the sidelines, You're not walking into a guy who's never called a play, and that's his 4th game ever calling a play. You got a guy who's thrown for nearly 50,000 yards and 300 touchdowns where you could sit there and have a conversation with. I'm not talking about taking his job. I'm talking about helping him develop as a player. I mean, did you ever think how come they don't really ever have experience behind Hurts either?
Yeah, it feels like sometimes they leave like the human parts of it out, you know?
Like it's too much analytics.
Yeah, like just like the like you say, why would you hire somebody for Jalen Hurts right now that's never called a play in their life? Even if Sean Mannion is a genius.
Okay.
Like, are you leaving out the human? I don't know. It feels like that to me a little bit. You know?
Are on your point today. You're telling me right now I'm giving Hurts the best talent I can at AJ. You think the offensive coordinator matches AJ Brown's talent? You think that matches AJ's talent, the offensive coordinator you just hired? You told me they want to give him the best chance of success.
Yeah, you would think.
Well, how come I look at AJ?
If they're not doing that, like if they're trying to build around what Sean Mannion does compared to what Jalen and AJ do best, it's going to fail. I'm telling everybody right now, it's going to fail. If you're trying to build and mold the player into what you want to do, you either got to get new players or it's going to fail. Like they should be everything Sean, and I don't know this, by the way. Like I think there's a chance that Sean Mannion is doing this, but they should be doing everything this summer. If I were Sean Mannion, I would be watching every single snap of Jalen Hurts' career. I'd look at all his best moments. I'd look at all his worst moments. I look at where he thrived, where he felt comfortable, what he liked doing, how he liked to run, how he likes to throw, where on the field. And I would design my offense around those analytics. If you're doing it like, hey, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to ask Hurts to be different, it's going to fail. I'm telling you right there and that's going to fail. I don't know if they're going to do that though. So we'll see.
Absolutely. All right. Now we're going to get to the honeypot here. I think they want, and we've offered a 2 and a 3 for AJ. Nobody's giving a 1 and a 2 for a disgruntled dude. Now, that back end of that comment could just be posturing because, in my opinion, I think the New England Patriots, I think by the time that draft comes and once you go through free agency, I think that panic button is going to hit up a little bit more. Well, so they've offered Philly a 2 and a 3. Now, to some of the people's points, and you're right in here, you're talking about a low 2 and a low 3 in the draft of those respected rounds.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you who had a bad day today.
Oh, the Bills.
The New England Patriots had a bad day today.
Tell me, okay.
Because they've made it openly known that even if it's not A.J. Brown, you know, they've already put out the report on Diggs. They could have waited on that.
Yep.
They've already insinuated to the rest of the league, New England's over here and we need a wideout. I think that's bad negotiating already because you're showing your hand too early. But they had a bad day because what did DJ Moore get traded for today?
A 2 and a 3 and a 5 or 2 and a 5.
I mean, I like DJ Moore. I think he's a fine player.
He ain't that.
I don't think he's even in the ballpark of AJ.
No way. No way.
I mean, I don't even think he's in the arena.
No.
So if you're the Patriots, you're probably looking to and you're like, fuck. They just totally screwed them up. Now Howie looks justified in what he's asking for.
2 and a 5 for DJ Moore. That's
rich, dude. Dude, DJ Moore had like 800 yards the last 2 years, each year.
He had 600 last year.
Oof.
You gave him a 2 and a 5. Hey, how about AJ Brown to the Bears?
That's interesting. Well, remember, no, probably not. They got those multiple draft picks, don't they? Roma Dunze. Who's the other guy they just picked last year? Didn't they pick the Missouri kid?
Oh, the kid, what's his name? Burden?
Yeah, Luther Burden. Yep.
Okay, they got him.
So they got multiple first-round picks. I don't think.
No way. That would make sense, though, because it would fit a running style that he's played in Tennessee and also here in Philadelphia. So, all right. I mean, Hey, by the way, who do you think will get more interest as a free agent? Trey Hendrickson or Jalen Phillips?
If I was a GM, I'd rather pay Jalen Phillips. I think
Okay.
Trey's a true one-trick pony. I think he's way old. I think he's overrated, quite frankly. And I don't know. He kind of strikes me as a guy that I don't really want to bring into my locker room. I mean, just some of the ways he's
I don't
handled.
see it. I don't see
Yeah. And
it.
I don't feel it. And sometimes I listen to him like that one time. I forget he did the open mic thing when. Now I get it. He's in Cincinnati, and where I do reason with him is it probably sucks to be an NFL player in
shit.
Cincinnati, dude. I mean, you see everybody like if
Bro.
they play well, they get paid, and
Bro, they
you get
charge
contract.
guys in the locker room for cokes.
It's ridiculous. So it must suck to play in Cincinnati. So I reason with him from that perspective. But I mean, you're talking 30 million. How old is he?
31.
Yeah, I mean, give me the 26-year-old guy all day. It's a young man's game, dude. And I'm gonna urge you to come off. You seem to like old players.
I don't like him.
You like experience though, which I think is a fine line because
but
you're consistent. I'll give you that. You don't like potential because it means you haven't done it, and you like experience and proven demonstrative success, which I like. But I do think there's a curve, man. And when these players get on the other side of it, like the Commanders, this is why I hated the Commanders.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get away from the element of failure. And to me, you fail more with younger players than older players. I'd rather have the experienced guy than how many draft picks have you seen in your time covering the Eagles or any team covering the Eagles that most of these guys, if you hit on 3 guys in a draft every year, shit, man, you hit on 30%, you're a Grand Slam general manager. And you got 8 picks.
Well, I guess it depends what kind of team you are. Like, if you're the Eagles and you're trying to compete for a Super Bowl, then what you're saying makes a lot of sense because you have a short window and you're trying to capitalize it. But if you're like a young team or like a team like the Raiders or even the Commanders, this is again why I hated what they did. You're building to get to that point. You haven't arrived yet. So if I'm going to fail, I'd rather fail with the young player because I have a higher ceiling with that young player as opposed to if I fail with a 31-year-old, they're going to be cut or released or traded or not re-signed, and I'm going to have to turn over the page and start a new leaf. So that's where I think, you don't really want to fail with something that's set to expire. You want to fail with something where you can learn and grow through it, and that's kind of what you have with younger players,
Here's what I have with Crosby, though. And tell me if you think that this fixes a lot of the direction that you and I have had conversations and debates on here. You get a guy, say you trade A.J. Brown to the Raiders for Max Crosby. Contracts, you can post date to June 1. You get a player that's going to be an impact now. You take care of a need at edge. Your D-line is this: Crosby, Davis, Carter, Hunt. Your backers are Campbell and Bond. That would make me do this. Wow, wait a minute now. Then I only have to go get a cornerback. I can do that in round 3. I can get a wide receiver in 2, and I could go in the first round and get an offensive line. I help the unit that's aging the most, the O-line. I'm beginning the process of rebuilding on my wide receiver. I'm turning and making my 10th pick in the draft, Devontae Smith, the number 1, which we all hope he turns into the 1. I replace Adoree Jackson. All of those pads are covered with one move.
It all sounded right. I have a really hard time believing that we're going to be a better team without A.J. Brown. I know there's people in here. I get it. All right. He doesn't want to be here. I saw Ramir super chat. Zan, give it up. A.J. doesn't want it. He wants the divorce. He filed the papers. All right. Whatever.
No, that's all under that premise, too, that he doesn't want to be here.
I don't believe the Eagles are going to be a great team without great weapons on offense. I really don't, dude.
When did you ever think you weren't going to have to ever take a step backwards, though, one time? And I'm not saying you don't believe that. The Patriots had to take a step back eventually.
Yeah, you and John are both on
The
this.
Chiefs had to take a step back eventually. Dana, winning in this league like the way the Eagles, the Patriots, the Rams, the Packers, that's uncommon. If you're winning 3 years in a row and you get a 4th or 5th year, That's insane greatness. I mean, that doesn't happen. These lengthy and free 20% of the teams in the NFL are turned over every year. Do you know that last year the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had 18 new ball players on their team? Didn't you have 18 new ball players this year on the Philadelphia Eagles this year? On the roster, you had 18 new dudes.
It's a lot. Why am I getting the vibe here that Prince might be on to something? He says Sills wants AJ Brown gone.
No.
Prince, something tells me you're right. Yeah, Senorita and Sileo. These are the two stooges that want AJ Brown. We're gonna be a better team without AJ.
No. I never said you were. I told you were 7-8 win team.
I get it. Like where you guys are right, as much as I don't want to admit it. I mean, if he's gonna be a fucking mope,
totally.
I mean, it's like, all right, dude, just whatever.
Xander, I'm talking like this only under that premise.
Yeah, I mean, you're not the only wideout in the world.
Are you a better team with? Of course you're not. But you also say this. Would you not agree? If you move that guy, you're resetting in 26.
AJ?
Yeah.
What if they trade him for Max Crosby? You going to say they're resetting? I think they're contending.
Not as much.
But they better go and get a wideout.
I'll tell you what, you'll have one of the top 5 defenses in pro football if you do that.
I think John's wrong about Mike Evans. If they trade AJ Brown, I'd sign. I think Mike Evans is a good idea.
In a second. Get him at $13 million.
You don't need him to be a 1. You don't need him to get 100 targets. He's not going to bitch and moan about targets.
He wants the ring.
Yeah, man. But I mean, he's a good guy. And then you draft a young guy. He can learn a lot from Mike Evans, just watching the way Mike Evans works and prepares and operates. I think that would be a good one.
He's beloved in the locker room. He would be an
Where are you on Devontae? A 1?
I think if you get Devontae, another dude, listen, the conversation about Jalen Hurts won't happen for 2 more years. So you got to go to war with this guy. No pun intended. I apologize if that offended anybody. But you got to go and play ball games with this guy for the next 2 years. Okay? So the conversation about Hurts benching and trading, and that's stupid. So to help him, I got to get as much experience that I can to help my quarterback and also to help my wide receiver on the other side. Do you know what I think you need on this new offense that you're going to try to implement? You need more versatility than you have at the wideout now. A.J. Brown's not versatile. You can't play him in multiple positions. You're paying a guy $31 million to line up to the left every single game. I mean, when I watch Puka Nacua, Xander, and I watch JSN, or I watch Jamar Chase, when I watch those guys are moving all over the field.
Yeah, well, AJ is a little limited. Yeah. He's definitely a little limited to be considered a top 5.
Yeah, he lines up in the Z every single time he's over there. Now, they'll move him over on the other side. He's never in the slot. I mean, he's never moved around. And if you're going to have a multiple passing offense, don't you want to be – I'll tell you what. Has he helped – how much do you think he's helped Devontae Smith's career?
He's definitely helped Devontae Smith's career.
Okay.
He's also limited it. It's like a two-edged, double-edged sword, He's definitely helped it, but in a way, he's also been a reason that Devontae hasn't been able to take that next step to elite territory.
How much do you think he's helped Jalen Hurts' career, AJ Brown?
AJ? Oh, a ton.
Okay.
I mean, I heard you saying the topic earlier. I don't know if it was you or somebody in the chat that you read, about Jalen bailing AJ out or AJ bailing Jalen out, and some of those things. Like, I think both of them have done a pretty equal amount of helping each other, but there's no question that AJ Brown has bailed out Jalen Hurts more.
How about this? Needs to make better adjustments to poorly thrown footballs.
Well, I think he's done pretty well at that in Philly. Dude,
footballs are not on time. He doesn't really give great effort to try to adjust, does he?
That's true. But when it is on time, but it's not in the right spot, he goes and gets that ball, man.
Okay.
I think he's done it pretty well.
Okay. I mean, so between that and the other one, drops appear when focus declines. So he doesn't help him on some late throws, and he gets frustrated and he drops balls. Boy, is that a guy that you think is going to help as a quarterback gets older? O-line?
I think Bob brings up a good point here. I'll go to Bob Brown in the chat. Bob, good to see you, brother. I love you, Bob. Bob says AJ is the top on Smitty's jar. Trading AJ takes the top off. I think that's fair to say.
I do too.
At this point, I don't think that was true in year 1, 2, and 3 of Devontae, though.
No.
But at this point in Devontae's career, I think that's fair to say.
Plus, his attitude's better.
Oh, way better. But remember, it's not.
No, I don't mind.
This is where I think people get blind. Like, Devontae's attitude publicly is much better. Devontae does not like this offense either.
No, he doesn't. I see him on the sidelines. You ever see him?
He said it. He said, remember, he had the passing comment.
But he talks like this too on the sidelines. You could see him doing this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, and John says all the time, and he's at his locker. He says it. It's not a fun offense to play, and sometimes it's very aggravating, But Devontae's more muted. He's more of a professional in that way. AJ's a little bit more of a, this is where he is a diva. You're right. Like he wants to, even if he knows what it's going to stir up, he has to get it off his chest. He can't just keep it contained. He can't. Reminds me of somebody I know well, but no, that's definitely true.
So Jordan Davis, what are you really doing with him? What are you going to do with him?
Sending him, man. He's earned it. And Vic's defense is built on defensive tackles. The Eagles have built their defense long before Vic showed up on defensive tackles. They did it with Fletcher Cox. This is what they do. You have a defensive tackle here that was drafted here, has improved here, has won at a high level here, has made an impact here, and I'm not giving him up. I'm not just moving on from that guy. I think sometimes it's like a fine line. Like, moving on from guys does make sense sometimes, but you can't just move on from everybody and think that everybody's replaceable. Even guys that aren't the superstars, there does have to be guys that are
the
good.
Blankenships.
I think Jordan's a little bit above that.
No. Oh, I do, but guys, those kind of guys are needed.
Yeah, those kind of guys, right? That's building a roster. That's building a 53-man roster. It's not all the best person in the league, the best safety in the league, the best tackle in the league, the best. It doesn't work like that. So, yeah, and Daz is right. The Nakobe Dean, Daz, this is what I've been saying all summer, man. I know it doesn't. They're probably not going to sign Nakobe, but I would sign Nakobe Dean. That is not a guy I would let leave. But you're probably looking at some departures already on that line in the next couple of years. I don't think Nolan Smith will be here long. I don't think Mora Jomo will be here after this upcoming season. So, I'm locking down Jordan and I'm locking down Carter, and then I'm building it around them,
Okay. I heard John say something, and it's hard for you, but then again, you've become a student of the game, and I love that you go and watch some of these older players just to get good context on them. I look at Carter and Davis, and I'm a little bit biased because I look at Reggie and Jerome. Bro, they're not in the room. They're not in the room. They're not in the room.
So I love you, brother, but you can take the last 30 years of football and put together your favorite two ends and tackles. 99.9% of combinations are not in that room, bro.
No way. No, none.
Dude, you can put who's the best Eagles edge rusher in the last 25 years?
I would probably say either Clyde Simmons or Trent Cole.
Trent Cole is who I was going to say. You could put prime Trent Cole and prime Fletcher Cox. I love them. They're great players. They're still not coming close to that duo. So what are we doing here, Sills?
No, hey, well, when I hear somebody say he's the best guy drafted since Reggie. Now, I do think he's in that room where he's in there with Jerome and he's in with Fletcher Cox and he's in there. My problem, though, is how come when I look at Jalen Carter, I don't see Fletcher Cox yet, and I don't see Jerome Brown yet? I see a guy who's very immature and makes me nervous. Jerome made me nervous. Jerome made me nervous too. I won't lie. I can't.
Yeah, of course.
He made me nervous too. But Jalen Carter makes
Yeah,
me
I
nervous.
think about Jerome often because I love cars. I love driving. I think about it all. I got a Corvette. I think about Jerome all the time. You know, because of you. I mean, I probably wouldn't think about him as much because of you, but I do know about that, obviously, that story and everything. So you gotta be careful,
Just
man.
be careful, man. Just be
Yeah,
careful.
no, I am. I'm very careful. It's, you know, my dad used to always say to me when I'd leave the house, he would say, "It's not you I'm worried about, it's the other guy."
Yeah,
You know,
that's
and
right.
that's always been true for me. So, or at
That's
least I've tried to. So, but
Well,
still,
here again, like that's why I'm a little bit upset with Myles Garrett. It's your 9th speeding ticket, bro, since 2017.
yeah, I
What the fuck
mean,
you doing here, guy? I mean,
this is my problem with Myles Garrett. I'll tell you what, because I can understand when you're like his speeding tickets are it's a lot of them, but you know, it's like the one was like 80 and a 60. It's like, all right, anybody who's honest with themselves knows that if you have any sort of emotion when you're in a car, you don't have to be in a fast car to be going 80 and 60.
no,
But
no.
I'll say this, like I am not as rich as Myles Garrett. Let's just say that. Okay. I want like $100,000 extra so I can build myself a little race strip to go and drive my cars privately so that I'm not a nuisance to the public. Like Miles, if you love driving fast, bro, get yourself a fix, become a member at a track, build yourself your own track for $1 million. I don't care what you do, but you don't need to speed 9 times on public roads. That's just irresponsible behavior, you know? So that would be my gripe with him there. Like, dude, come on, do something. Like, put a piece of asphalt down that's a mile long. It'll cost, you know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here, Miles? Come on.
I got it, man. I'm with you here. All right. Do you think Howie makes a splash? Do you think he makes an A move, B move, C move?
In free agency?
Yeah.
Well, what would you consider paying Phillips?
If it's 26 million, my question would be then if you pay that guy 26 million, my question would come back to you and go, why do you feel it's in this year's need to sign a guy for 26 million when you had Milton Williams and Milton Williams signed for 26 million?
Wow. Different
Now,
positions.
why? Okay. But one guy you could play in multiple positions and he was your guy, and this guy's hurt sometimes.
Well, I would look at it like this. First, let me say this before I answer your direct question of do I think he makes a splash? I don't think Phillips is a splash. Because hear me out. I think Phillips is a good player, and I would be happy if they re-signed him.
Give me a grade, B plus, B.
Well, no, the way I see it is like if you're going off of like last year's team, right? Like, all right, last year's team ended here. So how do we get it to go back this way? Technically, bringing back the same player is not. That's not a splash. A splash is upgrading that player. A splash is letting him walk and trading for Max Crosby. That to me is a splash. Signing Phillips is a big deal. I'm not saying it's not a big deal, but it's not a splash. Do I think Howie makes a splash? I do. I actually started having this thought this week that I think Howie might be super aggressive this offseason. Because one, I think Howie's smarter than
defense or offense.
I'll say wherever he can get the most value that he sees that can improve the team in a realistic way. And the reason I think he makes more splashes than people think is Howie is not dumb. Howie's a very smart dude. He knows that the window's not going to be open forever. He knows that, like you've been saying and John's been saying, at some point you might have to take a step back before you can take a step forward. He's had to do that multiple times as a GM. He's smart enough to know these things. So if he looks at this window like, I got 1 year left of Vic Fangio, I have maybe 1 year left of A.J. Brown if they did bring him back, I have 2 or 3 good years left of probably Jalen Hurts, right? I have 1 good year left, 2 good years left if we're optimistic of Saquon Barkley. I have 1 year left of Lane Johnson. How long are Landon and Cam going to last? Like, if I'm Howie, I'm looking at him like, we're closer to having to retool completely than I'd like to admit. if we do have an opportunity this year, we need to double and triple down on it because one, if we achieve success, that'd be obviously ideal. That's what you're doing for. But if we fail, we will know a lot more about ourselves than if we didn't take those shots. And I'll tell you, anybody who's experienced failure in life, when you fail, the only thing worse than failing is failing and not being able to see the lesson, not being able to see where you went wrong. That's the only thing worse than failing. When you fail and you learn something or you gained more information or you set yourself up for future success, is it a failure or is it a lesson? And if you're the Eagles and you fail and you take the shots, I think you learn more about the state of your football team to make the better decisions over the course of the next 3 years. So if I'm Howie, I'm making the splash. I think Howie's smart enough to know that the window could be closing. And if he doesn't do things to prop it back open, it's going to slam shut. And I think he could be aggressive this offseason.
Do you think Howie Roseman became a better general manager after the Jalen Reagor deal?
Absolutely. And that's demonstrative. I don't think that's an opinion. I think that's demonstrative.
Well, it changed my opinion on him and how he's been since that Reagor deal. Because
Well,
prior to that, I didn't really think much of him.
Well, and that's where I think you weren't as, some people like to, well, I don't think that much, but, people will come in here and say, oh, Sileo used to hate on Howie, which doesn't get said much, but if it did get said, it's like you weren't that far off. I mean, Eagle fans were hating on him in you started the show in 21, right? 2021, April of 21.
April 23rd.
Yeah, that was coming off of the 2020 year, the Jalen Reagor draft pick, the Isaac Seumalo draft pick, or no, not the Seumalo, the Andre Dillard draft pick. Like these were a lot. So it was more up in the air than people think at that time. And
plus, I didn't like the whole Doug exit. I thought
believe me, I hated that, dude.
Okay, the Doug exit and the whole Wentz thing just to me looked like it was mishandled. And I think they've learned a lot from that. All right. So you say that there could be a big deal done. How much do you think the offense and the contracts over there limits Howie and his flexibility when it comes to the money that's tied up over on that offensive side for him to make these moves? Because, Xander, it's great to sit there and want to make the moves, but can you make the moves with the limitations that you have financially?
Yeah, I definitely think it limits you. My question is like how, you see a lot of these teams like it would also be easy. Right. Like they created $60 million out of thin air yesterday. I mean, you know what I mean? So like I do
they're committed to Dak.
Yeah, that's the caveat.
Do you understand me, Xander? To me, every time I see them, every time an organization restructures a quarterback's deal, what does that tell you as a fan and a media guy? That tells me the commitment that the organization has to the quarterback. Ever since Jalen has signed this deal, you have an opportunity to restructure, and they haven't yet. Why?
Yeah, I mean, and to take that a step further, if you were super committed to Hurts, the most logical thing to do this offseason would be extend him.
Absolutely.
This is last year guaranteed money. So you can probably free up $30 million.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, that would be logical, but it doesn't seem like they want to do that. And to be honest, I don't think they're wrong about that. I mean, you can't just blindly commit, I mean, if you're Howie and Jalen's agent calls, I mean, what are you saying? You're probably saying, look, Jalen's done a lot for this organization and we appreciate it. And he's been well compensated for that contribution. But when you're talking about, a future after 2028 or whenever that deal ends, I mean, I'm looking at 2 years of performance that was down from his peak. I'm looking at, less running yards. I'm looking at way less running attempts. I'm looking at a whole different style of player. So, I'm cool with you wanting it as his agent, but I still got reservations at this point. And until we learn a little bit more, I'm not ready to do that deal. I think that's the right move. But I'm just saying, to your point, if they were committed to him, this would be the year to extend him. And maybe they're not committed to it.
They're getting ready to extend Lamar Jackson. They're going to get this. No, whether that's wrong or not, they're committed to him. That's my point. Get this. Since Jalen Hurts signed that contract, I might be wrong, but Xander, Lamar Jackson will get a third deal of extensions.
I'm not a huge Lamar Jackson guy right now. I think Lamar Jackson has served as a blueprint to exacerbate my concerns with Jalen Hurts, literally, because I've seen him be such an electric player, and as he's aged, he's relied more on arm. He's relied more, and you watch anybody who's watched the Ravens game with Lamar Jackson recently, you're not wowed in the same way. You're just not. In fact, there's probably more head scratching plays than not. So it's not to say they're the same player, but it does speak to a much longer trend in the NFL of dual threat quarterbacks have certainly carved out their spot in the NFL, but that shelf life is not as long. And going into year 6 of Jalen Hurts, year 7 of Jalen Hurts, I think year 6 is starting. How much longer of a shelf life do we have? Like, I wouldn't pay Lamar Jackson right now if I was the GM of the Ravens. Now, I'm not a GM, and maybe my opinion is worth squat. I would not pay Lamar Jackson right now.
They're going to give him 60.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. No way. In fact, I feel more confident about Jalen Hurts for the next 2 years than I do about Lamar Jackson.
Man, I'm starting to go there too, because I'll tell you what, as electric and as tremendous of an athlete in everything he's done in his career, 4,200 passing yards, 1,000 yards rushing, 41 touchdown passes.
He's an electric talent. There's no doubt.
Do you remember what we used to say all the time? I want me one of those.
Yeah. And remember, you also say this, say what you want. People can criticize Hurts, but hey, when the great running back showed up with Jalen Hurts, he figured out by hook or by crook how to become
a Rubik's Cube.
How to become a part of that winning team. I mean, Lamar Jackson's had good defenses. Lamar Jackson has had great players around him. Lamar Jackson got added Derrick Henry. He can't figure out the Rubik's Cube. I like that word. It's hard to turn a Rubik's Cube. Jalen Hurts figured out how to turn it the right way. And by the way, he sacrificed some of his own success, growth, statistics, and maybe even perception, and as we just talked about, the extension to do it. Lamar has not.
Would you make a Philly 500 calling Sirianni the Barry Switzer of the Eagles?
I think Philly's, I love Philly 500, but I don't think that's a good comment at all. I think Eagle fans, as much as I've spent around them in my life, I think for some weird reason, they go here and they just don't think coaches are worth a shit, or the easiest thing to do is criticize coaches. And Nick Sirianni has been an extremely successful coach. That's the help of Howie. It's the help of Jalen and AJ and the defense and Vic Fangio and all those different things. I agree completely. But did Andy Reid not get help from Joe Banner? Did Andy Reid not get help from the defensive coordinators of that day? Did Doug Peterson get help from Jim Schwartz? I mean, you can make all the excuses you want. At the end of the day, Sills, it's a scoreboard world. It's a scoreboard world. All right? And you might not like it. And some people might, you need to add the content. Bullshit. We are judged in this world, this worldly world that we live in, this
ratings and revenue
world. Exactly right. Fucking results. Nick's got them. Jalen Hurts has them.
Do you think Nick could go to the Jets and do the same thing that he did there?
No, but to be fair, I don't think there's a single coach in the league that could go to the Jets and do that. How about, here's a better question. Do you think Nick would have success in, let's say, San Francisco? Another good organization. I do. Look a lot different there, but I think he'd have success.
The head coach is a play caller and one of the savants.
That's why I said it would look a lot different.
Yeah.
But my point is there's a good organization there.
They'd have to rely more on their coaching hires there if he was the head coach. See, that's the deal. When you got a guy like Nick Sirianni, you got to rely more on your coaching hires than you do on the head coach being a coach. Because he doesn't even coach defense. He really coaches nothing. I'm saying, but watch this. Look, when Mike Tomlin is a defensive coach, that side of the ball better be fucking good. Because if it's not good, you're not, what are you doing? Okay? But when you're a coach like him, You got to have success where you've got I think the biggest problem that Nick Sirianni has, and I'll tell you, and I don't think it has anything to do with him. I don't think he really has control of his own destiny.
Well, that's the organization. That's not on Nick.
So if he doesn't have a control of his own he doesn't have a control of his own destiny, how good a coach could he be if the destination of the coach's future is relying on what people do around him? That's my problem with him.
Well,
It's all about the superficial stuff around him that determines his success and not the internal part of it that makes him successful. If he doesn't have Howie, he doesn't have Jalen, he doesn't have a good roster.
Yeah, but you also, I mean, look, that's a fair comment, but you also have to recognize the deficiencies of the guys who run their teams like that. I mean, outside of Andy Reid, there's not a whole lot of hardware to show for those guys. There's awesome offense. There's a bunch of stats. There's pretty play calls.
Okay, fair enough. And I'll ask you this. If you had to hire right now one guy to coach your team, and I'll give you a couple of guys. Would you hire Sean McVay or Nick?
Sean McVay.
Would you hire Matt LaFleur or Nick?
Nick.
Okay. Kyle Shanahan or Nick?
Kyle Shanahan. It's my favorite coach in football.
Mike McDonald, Seattle.
Interesting one. I'll go Nick.
Interesting. Okay. Andy Reid or Nick? That's not
Andy
fair.
Reid. That's easy.
That's the Mike Vrabel or Nick.
That's a personal preference thing for me there. I'm taking Vrabel. It's my kind of coach. I mean, look, we've talked about this. I'll give Nick the credit because I don't think my opinion is the most important thing of him, but he is not my kind of coach. Like, I would not hire a personality like Nick Sirianni. It's just not who I would hire. But I can recognize what he's done as a success, and that my way, for lack of a better phrase, my way to skin the cat is not the only way to skin the cat. You know what I mean? There's other ways to do it, but I have other preferences for how I would do it. I think Shanahan's the best. I mean, but again, I'm not going to be blind. Shanahan's got deficiencies, major ones, some that you could argue are the reason they don't have more Super Bowls. So you kind of got to pick your poison here, man,
John Harbaugh or Nick?
Give me Nick. I think the Harbaughs are overrated.
Really?
John got one Super Bowl in 2012. And then he's a middle guy. Like, I don't want middle, dude. I don't want to win 10 games every year and win a playoff game. What is that? I'd rather Nick boom and bust year after year than just be Mike Tomlin. I'm sorry, but I would. Maybe it's not good for revenue, but
how about this? The way we're watching it in New York right now, it surely looks like John Harbaugh's making his own hires, does it not?
Yeah, no, for sure. John Harbaugh's a good coach. And look, here's us. John Harbaugh's going to turn the Giants around.
Jim has already. Jim's turned the Chargers around already.
What is the ceiling, though?
Super Bowl. He's got to win one.
Yeah, for John. I mean, he did that 1 year in 18 years in Baltimore, right? How many years was he in Baltimore?
18 years, I believe. 17, 18 years.
Yeah, one Super Bowl. I don't know. I mean, do people understand? I want people to understand this. Do people who are listening to this right now honestly believe, as good as you might think John Harbaugh is, whoever's listening, do people honestly believe that this organization with this owner would keep a coach for 18 years with one Super Bowl? Doug Peterson lasted 3 years after winning.
He kept Andy for 14.
That was a different era.
I don't think they'd ever do that again. And he was a new owner.
I don't think they'd ever do that again.
So what do you think the shelf life for Jeffrey? It's a good observation now. Since Andy Reid, these coaches, what are they?
Yeah, we did it. The longest Andy Reid's the longest. Andy Reid's the longest standing. He's the longest tenured coach in Eagle history. If you look at the average of Jeffrey Lurie since his ownership, it's averages 5 years for a coach. Chip, Nick, Ray Rowe, all these guys, all of them. Doug. Nick almost got fired before they won the Super Bowl a year and a half ago.
After having gone to one.
Right. Organization doesn't give a shit, dude. You know, so I don't even think those coaches would have the ability to last that long here.
Howie Roseman has really done a job on me, and I'll tell you how. I've changed a lot on him, and I've changed a lot on how he really does do a damn good job on that salary cap and all that stuff. But now, do you not agree? Some of this stuff is coming back now where he's pigeoned himself into this position now where look at the flat latitude he has. He doesn't have any. This offseason, he doesn't have any, dude.
Well,
Max Crosby.
I'm kind of coming around to it a little bit. I didn't really love it at first, but I think this team should make some splashes.
Okay, the Jalen Phillips. Give me a percentage on them re-signing him.
I wouldn't be upset with Jalen. Here's what I'll be upset with. I wouldn't be upset if they didn't go Crosby and they went with Phillips. I wouldn't, but I would be upset if that's the only thing they did.
If they 42%, they sign him.
Is that where you're putting it at?
42.
I think that's actually right on the money. I think it's a little higher, maybe like 46.
Okay. Max Crosby deal, I got at 18%.
See, this just goes, look, I love the great people we have here. Senor, I want you to use the pea-sized brain that's between your two ears, okay? If they trade A.J. Brown, it does zero for their ability to maneuver. In fact, it makes it harder. Go and read the Spot Track guy who put out a tweet today about the financial complexity of moving on from A.J. Brown. There's a specific reason that Howie Roseman has said, I want a Quinnen Williams size haul, because you're taking a bath, senor. You're getting worse as a football team. You're getting worse at the wide receiver position. You're making life harder for Jalen Hurts. You're making life harder for Devontae Smith, and you're taking a financial bath.
And
that's a lot for Howie to overcome.
And that's why the only reason that I say that Max Crosby makes the only sense if you're going to move him, because you're moving money.
And that's where you might be right.
And you get a player back that can make an impact today. And also, remember this on the Crosby deal, Xander, you get younger and cheaper. You're going to get a wide receiver in the draft that's going to be on a rookie deal. You're going to get a corner on the other side of Q on a rookie deal. And you're going to get a offensive lineman on a rookie deal. That's where you're getting cheaper and younger, and you solidify the edge for the next till 29. That's why it makes sense. And get this, you can post date it to June 1 on both deals to drop the cap hit. It's the only thing that makes sense. Grabbing a 1 and a 3 from New England, bro, then you got to deal with that 40 some odd million. I mean, you're climbing uphill on a slippery slope where, guess what? You're never going to get to the mountaintop with that kind of move.
Yeah.
You're just not.
Yeah. Well,
it only makes sense, right?
Look, here's another thing that I think people are missing on this stuff. All right. When you look at the Eagles last year and you look at why they did, why were the Eagles in the big picture, not talking about one game, not talking about one moment, why were the Eagles big picture not as successful last year as fans wanted them to be, as the expectations set them to be, as anybody thought why did they not reach expectations last year?
Underperforming on offense.
Right. That's the easy answer. And that's the obvious true answer. It's not because of the defense. The defense was a good unit. They did not reach expectations because Quinyon Mitchell got beat versus the San Francisco 49ers. That is not true objectively.
No.
So why is
they improved weekly?
Why is the whole emphasis then right now for so many, and I'd even say you included, to bolster the defense when the offense was the deficiency? And if that offense can just get to the middle of the pack, that defense is going to be going to be better.
You just said it. you're praying for that thing to come back. I don't
Yeah,
believe
well,
it is. I think, oh, wait a minute. Where do you think the more sure talent? Oh my God, this is where, because of the names on the back of the jerseys, I'm more convinced that your sure talent's on defense right now than offense.
so why get Max when you got more?
Because I want to continue to bolster that side of the ball. That, listen, you can't.
So that remains your positive.
That's right. And I got Vic over there right now.
Yeah.
Because Xander, I don't believe you're all of a sudden going to just bounce back and be that team you saw in 24 on offense in the O-line.
All right, so here's a real question for you. All right, so if the Eagles get rid of AJ, what were they ranked again on offense last year? 27, 28?
Passing wise. Or they were 23rd.
No, I'm talking overall.
23rd.
Okay. If they get rid of AJ, what do they become?
23rd.
Oh, really? You think they stay the same? Less AJ Brown, they stay the same. Really?
Yeah, because there were many times in the game you guys didn't even utilize the guy. You never went to him. You never did anything with him.
I got a bridge to sell you.
Bro.
They're not staying at 23rd. They're going backwards.
Oh, so you think they're going to become worse?
I think they're going to be the 30th. 31st.
So you don't think, well, then if that's the case, you don't think the O-line's getting better? You don't think Barkley's getting better?
I have my a long list of concerns.
The offensive line and Barkley. That, see, listen, you're right. Here, let me go here then. So if you don't believe, okay, AJ's off the team, that's under the assumption of this then. You don't believe that Barkley is going to bounce back. You don't believe Hurts is going to bounce back. And you clearly don't believe the O-line's bouncing back. Well, this team bounces on one guy? All those guys underachieve.
No, it doesn't bounce on one guy because now I think you're conflating what I'm saying a little bit. I just think getting rid of him significantly decreases your chances of improving that offense. Completely. If the goal coming in is, all right, our defense is, if we re-sign Phillips, we're largely bringing back much of the same unit, much of the same core on defense. Let's assume they're in the same ballpark right now. All right, let's improve the offense. I'm finding it hard to believe they get better without AJ.
They're not.
In fact, I think you make it significantly worse.
By the way, I want to make this clear, though. I'm not saying I want AJ gone. I'm saying AJ wants gone. That's where I'm coming from. I'm not coming from whether you're better. I know you're not better. I'm saying that I'm not going to keep a guy on my football team that's going to create bullshit that I got to go through all the time, and I got to hear him crying all the way up until the trading deadline, and you fucking implode the start of my season when I'm trying to implement a new offense. I need you rowing in the same direction, dude. And if you don't want to row in the same direction, don't you think you got a better chance of swimming the shore with people who are rowing in the same direction, Xander, than people that aren't one guy tugging at the different direction? Dude, this is a survival mode right now for many of those guys on offense. Cam Jurgens, Landon, Barkley, Hurts. These guys have prove-it years coming up here, man.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Hurts' numbers are slightly worse without AJ Brown. I'm looking at him now. They're not too drastic, but he's got 59 games with AJ Brown. He's got a 65.8% completion percentage with almost 1,700 attempts, 7.6 average, 82 touchdowns, 30 picks, and a 97 rating. Without AJ Brown, it's an 87 rating, 28 touchdowns, 15 picks, 5,000 yards in 34 games with a 61.2% completion percentage and a 7.2 average. So it is down across the board. It's not that huge, though.
How about this? Here's an epiphany. Well, then fucking run, dude.
Now that is something I will agree with you on, my friend. I mean, Jalen Hurts is a dual threat quarterback. He was paid to be a dual threat quarterback. He was loved in Philly for his time being a dual threat quarterback. He has helped bring Super Bowl appearances and even trophies to this team, being a dual threat quarterback, including a 60-yard touchdown run in the playoff game versus the Rams. If he doesn't run, we have bigger problems.
Let me ask one last one here before we get to some of these supers. You think Hurts is a bad teammate?
No. Nah, I don't buy that narrative. I think what Jason is saying is true about he's definitely a unique guy. He's not the type of dude that's going to be like happy-go-lucky at, like, you know how AJ's the kind of guy that like smiles and pictures with Cooper after the game. Like, that's not Jalen. Like, Jalen is more reserved. He's more introverted. He's more to himself. But I've never once, from anything I've ever watched Jalen do, said, or at least taken my personal opinion that he's a bad leader or that he's, I think there are moments where he could have been a better leader.
Bad leader. I think they're two different things. I think you can lead your guys out there on the field.
I don't think he's a bad teammate. I just think he's
talking about the locker room shit and talking, like AJ sticking up for his team.
Yeah, but is the only way to be a good leader by being an extroverted dude that, like, that to me isn't real. That's
fake.
That's superficial. I'd rather you be quiet and be yourself, and I know who you are and what you're about and what your mission is and what your goal is, than feel like you're buttering me for the sake of fucking buttering me. I mean, I don't fucking want that.
I hate that guy.
Yeah, me too. I mean, and so I don't know. I don't really buy. I think he's a different type of dude, and I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that.
Who wants to be fucking Twizwa?
The great and legendary Twiz. Why is Twiz catching strays? You should be putting your strays on a señorita.
Oh, they're Reyes and them guys.
I'm a Reyes guy. I happen to be a Reyes fan.
Actually, I am too, because I keep him up and I bring him up all the time. So hopefully he's not a moaner.
He's a little delulu, but I love him.
Yeah. So hopefully he doesn't get emotional like I don't.
Yeah, we got a lot of great people who listen to our show. We really do. Yeah, we get a lot of great comments.
Absolutely. All right, let's read some of these supers, bro.
Let's do it. All right, here we go.
By the way, I saw a guy bring up something. They said something. Did somebody say? Did somebody kiss your ass today about your first show or some bullshit? Did I hear something like that?
I get a nice super chat when you got to take a shit on him.
No. I thought I heard somebody say that, your first show.
Yeah, he said they went back and listened to my first show. It's cool to see the growth.
Yep. And you know what? I wasn't sure to put them on more than once.
Yeah, what? Now you're going to butter me up? I'll rip you too.
No, man, I'm telling you. I think like the conversations we have.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'd rather get $5 and get glazed than get glazed for nothing. So
somebody brought that up to me. They go, Sills, I got 1 million views for it, and I used a Xander on them. I go, I got 1 million views on this one take. And I go, well, I'm going to use what the kid says to me all the time. Did you monetize it? The guy goes, no. I go, fucking useless.
Yeah, true. Yeah, views are overrated. Yeah. Not all. I used to say this. This is what I tell our advertisers too. Not all views are created equal.
No doubt.
Not all views are created equal.
No doubt.
There is Ramir. What's up, Ramir? Our problem on offense was run, pass, punt, fix it.
Like a ballet routine, Ramir. 1, 2, 3, kick.
That's that Bobo Patulo stack.
Oh, I can't wait to see the new guy.
Yeah, he's gonna.
You know what's funny? Angelo said something funny. He goes, I went back and I listened to Nicky Sirianni say the same bullshit about Kevin Petula that he said about Sean Mannion, whatever it is. And he goes, it was the same. Like he didn't even change.
He also told
word.
AJ Brown to shut up and play.
He did say that. He goes like this. I don't give a shit if the guy feels good or about himself.
It's like everybody's like, oh, let's placate the AJ's feelings are hurt. Let's blow up the team. Let's blow up the Super Bowl window because AJ Brown's crying. Fucking.
You think if you get rid of AJ,
logic?
If you get rid of AJ, you think the window's closed?
I think it's much closer to being closed. Absolutely.
Okay, fair enough.
Here's Ramir. Ask yourself, how many games did the offense win? Legit, maybe 0.
Well, 2, 1, I think 2. The first month they won.
Yeah, that's true. First 4 were good.
First month of the season.
And they were really Jalen.
Really Jalen.
Yeah, Jalen was good in there.
Jalen was. That was the best he played carrying his team. Was in those first 4 in September. After that, they were 7-7 after that, coming down the stretch. So, but still, I'd say the first four, the Rams were in there, Cowboys were in there, Kansas City Chiefs were in there. Some pretty good wins up there.
Yeah, I'm with you. Here's Freddie. What's up, Freddie? Sills breaking trade news. Just unfollowed Shefty. I did like the multitask, the breaking the news, doing the show, doing it all at once.
Yeah, you pick your phone up and you're going, how about me getting text?
You guys notice how long it takes Sileo to send a tweet? He's like, 1 key, 2 key, 3 key. Backspace is over here. I forgot to capitalize this word.
I got a new one for you guys. I won't tell you exactly what it is, but you should have seen this fucking Rubik's Cube this guy sent me last night. I was on my fucking computer for 4 hours. So I couldn't get anything done.
I'm trying to make this guy's life easier and better, and he fucking he acts like I'm blowing I'm blowing shit up. All right, here we go. Here's Mike Cannon. What's up, Mike? I wish with the ticket price increases, do the Birds need to add a star player? Always helps merch and ticket sales.
You don't need anything with that. One of the things Xander ripped me for when I first got on the air here, Sills, you think the Eagles need to have anybody to put 68,000 fans in that building? Yeah, I went, no, I guess not.
Dude, you don't need that. You don't need that, really.
That's not the building. That's not the building that you need.
I did think Angelo's take the other day about Jeffrey Lurie taking advantage of the passionate fans. I don't know that I agreed with it perfectly, but it did make me think a little bit for sure.
Me too.
I mean, look, and that's like I don't even say that as a total.
I think it's an NFL thing, though. I don't think it was.
Well, it's business, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you have to make money. Like, I get it, So, but I did wonder about that a little bit. Like, I don't know. Who knows? I thought.
Well, wait a minute. No. He does take advantage a little bit of the passion of the fan base, because the Eagle fan base is not going to say no to the Eagles and anything they want.
Yeah.
You're not,
dude. We had a dude at the house the other day who he did a deal with my sisters. They have this big Instagram account, and he does like Christmas lights. So he offered to put the lights up for the girls. They took some content for him or whatever. He came over in an Eagle hat the other day, and he was taking the lights down. And I gave him one of the Eagle hats I had in the studio, the one with the Super Bowl patch.
Yeah.
Because he did a nice thing, So I was like, you're an Eagle guy. Check out the channel, and he subscribed and everything like that. But just listening to the guy's quick stories of just like, you're an Eagle. Like, it was late February after the season. He's wearing his Eagle hat. The hat is one of those old, worn out Eagle hat, probably his favorite hat. Eagle fans are passionate people, man.
Yeah.
Like, sports is not just a sport to Philadelphia fans. It's not. It's truly a part of people's lives. It's bigger than that. It's a part of somebody's lives. When they leave this earth, they want the Eagles to be a part of their funeral. One of their dying wishes is to see the team succeed. Like that, dude, that's not fandom. That's a part of your identity as a person.
Do you know, this is going to sound quirky, and that movie Silver Book Linings, whatever that was.
Silver Lining. Yeah, I've never seen it, but I know it was recorded in Philly.
Listen, but and it was about Eagle fans, and I got to tell you, it portrayed you like this every single Sunday. No matter who you are, you're sitting there with your Eagle gear on.
Sure.
You're watching the games.
Yep.
And everyone even the cops who stop doing what they're doing to watch games. So that's how I look at it. I do see it. Silver Linings.
Yeah, that's it. I've never seen that movie, but I've heard.
I watched it, and I was more intrigued about how the Eagle fans were portrayed in that. I thought guys were beating each other up at the before the games.
Yeah. All right, here, a couple more of them because I didn't realize how late we were.
Yeah, me too. I didn't either.
Ravens want AJ. Here's my trade proposal. We get pick 14 in a second. They get 23 in AJ. Then we draft Sadiq. Would you do it?
I'm not drafting Sadiq.
I don't want Sadiq either.
In the first round. Now, if he goes 2, I'll take him. If he falls in the second, I'll take him.
I don't know that I like that trade proposal. I mean, you get up 9 spots.
Mm-mm.
You get back to second.
No. 23rd to get back in there? No way.
Yeah, Sue, I need a little more than that.
Yeah.
That's not rocking my socks off to go the senorita route and throw in the flag on the year. Here's Kimberly. We need Reed and Belichick, draft tight ends.
That's how they win games and win Super Bowls.
It's true.
I get it.
Here's Ramir. Look, I told you. Zan, it's over. Brown wants a divorce. Let him go.
Give the
Ramir, he's at the municipal center with the papers, filing them into the court system. You hate to see it. Here's Cobb. History of our birds, known for throwing snowballs at Santa Claus, throwing batteries in Eagle Court. It's the truth. It's the truth.
All right. Let me pay a bill. Let me take a time out here. I got to make us some money here. All right.
Yeah, you better pay.
Big D, awesome, awesome stuff, my friend. Hey, man, I'll tell you what. By the way, you think Phillips gets signed by Friday?
That's tomorrow.
You think you?
No.
Wow.
He's an agent. It's Drew Rosenhaus. He's about to get to 32 teams. Boosting his value. He's not going to sign today.
Absolutely. All right, Big C, we'll catch you in the morning.
Later, brother. Appreciate you, man.
You got you, man. Me too, man. All right, guys, don't forget our great friends at Morgan & Morgan, the #1 injury law firm in all of America for a reason, and it is because they win. If you've ever been injured on the job, folks, I've been telling you now for a long time, these folks are going to take care of you, man. This will be the easiest decision you ever make in your life. They defend families across this country. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. It's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand.
Thank you.
We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Max Crosby. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Appreciate each and every single one of you. Thank you so much. 2 to 6 tomorrow. We'll see you on the flip side.